Jake, it's been a while. Been a hot minute. Welcome back. Welcome
Thank
everybody to another live watch along for tonight. Believe it or not, it's like our fifth. 5 out of 7 of the last streams have been all Flames games. So you can kind of see the trend that's going on here in a little bit. But that's okay, as we got a lot of storylines, a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. As it should be a good one tonight. As if you're a Flames fan, you know Johnny Gaudreau returns back to Calgary for the second time since signing with the Blue Jackets 2 off seasons ago. And the Blue Jackets are coming into Calgary to take on the Flames, who are on a bit of a losing stretch right now. So a couple of key names again, though, from Columbus coming back to Calgary. So you got Johnny Gaudreau. You do have Erica Branson as well coming back.
I was going to say the more important signing.
And the way more important signing for sure. But we got a couple of those. If you're a Flames fan again, too, Oliver Shillington's going to finally get back into the lineup tonight, and we're very
20
happy
months, right?
Back.
Like he was away for a long.
He
long
was
time.
away for a long time, and I think we're all very excited to kind of see him come back. So it should be. I'm very excited to see him play. As again, the Blue Jackets are taking on the Flames tonight here at 9:00 Eastern. And if you guys haven't known it already, this is for the first time we've done one together, I believe. Welcome, Jake, from Jake Jackets podcast. Welcome on board, Jake.
Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate you.
So a lot of storylines going into tonight. As you can see, and we'll kind of get into the lineups afterwards before the game starts in a couple of minutes here. But we have the Gaudreau coming back again to Calgary. I mean, you can throw in Goodbranson if you want. We got obviously a big one too. Oliver Shillington having his first game in probably over, like you said, 20 months or so. Dylan Dubé leaving the team for reasons that maybe we'll touch on later on in the show. But a lot of different storylines going into tonight. Flames looking to try to get back into the playoff spot, in the playoff positioning there, as they're trying to fight for a wild card. And Columbus is just trying to get back into it in any way, shape, or form.
We're just trying to vibe at this point. Like, it's weird. This is our not even 40 games in earlier this year, Pascal Vincent already went ahead and said it's a lost season. Like, thanks for that, coach. That's a great vote of confidence. And this is also the bigger, the bigger story point being the first time in 10 games that Zach Werenski is back in the lineup after a high ankle sprain. So Z's back.
Oh, so he's back.
Pair.
Nice. Very good.
Back on the top pair, playing with Adam Boqvist tonight.
Nice, awesome.
Which means,
I forgot that. I was
going to say sent down,
and your check goes down. That's right. I forgot about the fact that that Werenski's coming back in the lineup because he was out for a long time as well. That's good to have him back on that side of things, as they're just doing some opening ceremonies here in Calgary, and what looks to be a beautiful night in Calgary. As Liam's checking in. Hey, Liam, what's going on? And while we check in too, RJ's been kind enough to show us what else has been going around the league. And obviously, too, Liam mentioning below, we'll get to our predictions. He predicts a 4-3 Flames win tonight. We'll get to our predictions before puck drop kind of gets underway. But I'm just going to rattle through here because RJ's been so nice of commenting some of these below, just of other games that have been happening around the league tonight. Detroit currently up 3-0 on Philly in a big game out east. After 2 periods, Boston currently up 2-1 there at the end of 2 against the Senators. Already put that one up there. Never mind. Lightning currently up 5-2 on the Coyotes on that. And there, the Habs are up 3-1 over Patrick Roy returning to Montreal.
That was a big storyline with tonight, huh?
Big story. As Canadiens lead 3-1. After 2, Hurricanes and Devils. We got a lot of Hurricanes and Devils on our network that have been going at it tonight. Hurricanes currently lead 3-0 in that department there. Predators and Wild are scoreless to start their game. Stars and Ducks are currently 1-1 in the second, and the Ducks currently lead 2-1 now over the Stars.
Wow.
I totally messed that one up there. I was like, oh, it's 1-1. No, it's not.
And now it's 2-1. Hey.
So we got Liam here, who's got 4-3 for the Flames tonight. We've also got MC Sand here, or Sandell, excuse me if I pronounced that wrong. 4-2 for the Flames tonight. I got to rock with my Flames, after kind of it being a little bit of a bad stretch for these guys. Bad loss to St. Louis the other day, up 3-1 going into the third period, totally blow that lead in regulation. I imagine the Flames kind of find a little bit of energy here tonight. And, a lot of different storylines. I think they're going to play hard for Shillington tonight. I like the Flames winning this one personally. I'm going to go 5-3, though, in a close contest. What do you got?
Well, if we're looking here, we've got a overtime win for the Columbus Blue Jackets 2-1.
Correct.
Um, knowing that it's Daniil Tarasov tonight, I don't know. I kind of expect the boys are going to have to shoot the lights out.
Okay.
So I'll say 4-3.
4-3. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you expect, like, we do these predictions and they're so close, and then, like, out of nowhere, it's like a complete blowout, right?
Yeah. And Jay and I have talked about this on our show before. The problem that we have isn't necessarily with Daniil Tarasov.
Mhm.
It's the fact that the defense is always so bad in front of him that he's routinely facing around 40 shots a game or more.
It'll be interesting. I think he's going to get peppered with shots tonight. The problem is we're just going to have a lot of trouble finding the back of the net. So we'll see what happens. They're just finishing up here with the national anthem. We'll bring the scoreboard up. Jared checking in. What's going on? Hope you like this really bad Value Village jersey that I found from a thrift store. It's a little long, not going to lie, but we're making it work. We're making it work.
And I got my whites.
Is it a good draw on the back of that one?
It is Johnny.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
It had to be Johnny.
Michael Howell checking in. He's saying, "Hey Jake, what's going on?"
What's up, Big Mike? Yeah, he's a buddy from back home. Good to see you, big dog.
Hopefully you guys can hang out with us tonight. Any questions, any comments you guys want to put in the chat, by all means, let us know. Something that came out an hour ago, and I do want your thoughts on this before the puck drop here. Report did come out that the Blue Jackets are listening to offers for Patrick Laine and Ivan Provorov. So, I mean, evidently, I mean, it seems like the coach has already said that they're punting on the season a little bit. And if you are looking at it, I'm not lying. It's true.
Yeah.
They are open for business. So Kekalainen is willing to listen to trade offers for forward Patrick Laine and defenseman Ivan Provorov. Teams are also very interested in Captain Boone Jenner, but the Jackets are highly unlikely to move from him. What are your kind of thoughts with those kind of reports about Laine and Provorov?
Laine and Ivan in particular is strange to me, even though it's kind of nice that we're finally getting names named. I know that a name that at least we want to see shipped in terms of just gauging value is Andrew Peeke.
Okay.
But it's a lot better getting like names of guys that we could shop rather than, earlier in the season when Jarmo Kekalainen came out to say, I'm open to trading anybody. So take that how you will.
And he might be.
But I will shut down. I will shut down the Boone.
I was going to point out real quick, by the way, just real quick for a second. I got a lot of like strings coming out too within this jersey, so that's how old it is. So I'm just letting Jared know about that. Angus checking in too, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there,
hey,
Jake, but Kyle and Jake too. Angus, what's going on? Thank you for coming back. Always good to have you around. And yes, the game's going to get underway here, and Oliver Shillington will take the ice for puck drop tonight. And what's believed too as well is that Shillington's family actually flew in from Sweden to see him play tonight. I'm just so happy to see him back. I'm glad he's doing a lot better, and he had a very short stint with the AHL team, and I'm glad he's back, and we're ready to rumble. So it looks like we got our second line unit at least out there, and for Johnny Gaudreau, he is out there for Columbus tonight as the game is officially underway. And so just to give you guys too a little tidbit on the lineups for tonight. I know I have the lineups there, but that's okay. We'll leave it like that. Oh God, I'm so happy to see Shillington out there, man. Just wait to see.
It's good to see.
It is. Normally they just bring out the lineups here. Oh yeah, here we go. So for the Flames lineups tonight, it stays the same on the top line as you got Huberdeau, Lindholm, and Sharon Govich with Mangiapane, Backlund, and Coleman. That's who started the game. They have Zari with Kadri and Matthew Coronado, who's going to be on that third line for the Flames there. And the fourth line will consist of AJ Greer, Cole Schwint, and 6'7" Adam Klapka. Yes, 6'7". Mackenzie Weegar and Rasmus Anderson there on D for the top unit there with Noah Hannafin and Chris Tanev for the second pairing there. And to round up the pairings, you got Shillington with Jordan Osterriel. I can't pronounce his name.
Osterley? Yeah, you're welcome. It's interesting because you guys had a couple of waiver losses today.
We'll get into it. Do I want to give you the Jackets lineup? You got Gaudreau with Sillinger and I think Line, Fantilli, Jenner, and Roslovich. I don't know if it was Line.
No Line. It's Chinikov on the top line.
Thank you.
Fantilli, Jenner, Roslovic. And then I'm trying to remember who's on the left for the third line, but I do know that it's Voronkov and Marchenko.
I believe so,
center and right.
Yeah. Correct.
And then the fourth is Texier, Corrali, Danforth. So basically
nice.
we're unchanged in terms of forwards from the last couple of games.
Right.
The biggest changes are defense, which is Werenski on the top line, top pair with Boqvist.
He's coming back,
yeah, with Zebak. So then we have Provorov with Severson on the second pair, which leaves Beating to Branson untouched, and then Tarasov in net.
Gotta love that contract, America Branson. Danelle checking in real quick. What's up? Good to see you wearing the throwback. It's pretty old looking, and need to get a new one soon. It's pretty bad. And Jake, obviously, you can introduce yourself too. If Danelle just doesn't know who you are and he likes to see the Blue Jackets away jersey, is it a Fanatics jersey too that he mentions?
It is. It's a Fanatics. A lot of my, basically every one of my jerseys are Fanatics just due to pricing. But thankfully I haven't had any issues with them yet. We'll see what happens when they become the official partner of the league, but
absolutely,
so far I haven't had any issues with Fanatics. So,
and of course, Boss Man's checking in, Dylan, as it's big clash of Titan. It's not like
check.
Oh yeah, you us two teams being at the bottom of the league. That's true. Clash of the Titans. We won't be talking about the Canucks tonight, unfortunately. And it's early goal as Markstrom slips, and it's an early goal. It's Chinikov with the goal as Markstrom just slips and falls, and a bad goal to give up for the Flames early as the Jackets take a 1-0 lead. Brutal.
What a little slide from Chinikov to get that in there.
I know, and I don't know what.
I know he's got a shot, but like you got to have that. And I mean, who would have thought this is slippery?
Off of the referee. That's why. It was off the ref.
Oh, duh. Jay's going to be mad at me. It's KJ on the left. Of course, it's Ken Johnson.
Okay.
Who else would it have been?
Don't wash the Fanatics jersey. Apparently, they'll peel off. So there you go.
He's Jay's a big KJ guy.
That was ridiculous goal. It goes right off the ref. Markstrom didn't even know, and it goes right in. And we're notorious for letting in the first goal in the first shot. So it seems very accustomed, and that's how we start this game, because it's been like that for the last 2 years, ever since Markstrom's been in net. So we're just gonna roll with that. That's just the way it's been. Jackets get lucky, and they get an early 1-0 lead.
Early bounces, you got to take those when you can get them.
You got it. What are you specifically looking for tonight out of your team?
Just effort, just consistency and effort. And it's like, at the very least, decent showing from Zach tonight. I know it's his first game back and everything, but like Boone is also recently coming back from a fractured jaw. All-star captain Boone Jenner.
Yeah, all-star cat. I'm sorry, that's crazy that he's an all-star. That's ridiculous.
What I don't get, if we can, just rant about this for a while, is like what I don't get is naming injured players. Because I know they went back to like naming whoever.
Right.
But when you know somebody's injured, I don't care if the timelines that they're going to be back in time. It's just weird.
It is very weird.
It's very strange to me.
I think the All-Star game's a joke in the first place, to be quite frank, because you get guys, not that Boone, I'm not calling him a scrub by any means. I think Boone Jenner's a great player, but I don't look at him and go, if I'm a kid, right? Because it's a kid's event, let's be frank.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to look at him and go,
he's not who you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. He's not flashy by any means, right? In terms of the eyes of the children, right? They rather see Elias Pettersson or Boone Jenner, right? Like they're gonna want to see Pettersson.
You're gonna represent all 32 teams. Get Adam Fantilli in there. Bring Johnny back. Give us a Kirill Marchenko. I really wanted a Kirill Marchenko this year.
Yeah, and that too. I mean, it's just like it's been that's just the way the All-Star is now, and you just have to accept it. So, Liam, I'll get to your question in a second here. Just going to get to Danelle's here first. The Stadium Series jerseys will unveil tomorrow, as we can't wait to see what they look like, especially for the local hometown teams, the Rangers, the Islanders, and the Devils. So, so the Stadium Series jerseys, I did hear that today, that they are going to get unveiled tomorrow. My hope is that, for the Devils at least, in terms of design, I really hope that they go mostly black, and then like they have like the red outline maybe for their logo or something along those lines. I think it would look really cool, to be honest.
Some red shoulders or something like that. We could
something along that. Yeah. I'm looking forward to
about that later.
I might have to ask him about. I might have to ask him about it tomorrow. But I'm excited to see kind of what they look like. So let's get to Liam's question here. Why is the NHL letting the fans pick who makes it to the All-Star game?
So this is coming back from like the format is coming back from years ago when it was like you get like we're still going to have the 4 teams, but the player draft is back, so that's a little bit different. It's not doing it based off of by division this year. Right. It's just you have your team captains and they get to pick it just like you would pick like a kickball team or whatever.
Yeah, I think whatever they do to the All-Star game, it's just not going to work. And I think a lot of people, it sucks because I feel bad for the players because you have everybody else in the league like going to Aruba or Antigua or whatever and taking a week and a half off or whatever it is. And these guys have to go to the stupid All-Star game. And like I get like they're trying to make it incentives and it's for the kids and I get it, but it's like I would rather see like if you're going to do that instead of the All-Star game, like why not make something more meaningful, right? Like what they do with the World Series All-Star game. Like if you win, you will have home ice advantage for the final. And I like that.
Right.
But the problem is like you also don't want your star players to go full out in an All-Star game and then come back and you don't know about some random injuries. So it sucks, but that's
All-Star is always weird. Like I get that baseball, gives some incentive to it, but there's also difference in terms of you just have National League versus American League instead of this weird 4-team tournament that makes no difference.
It did not work. Whatever it was, it didn't work. It's unfortunate.
Like if they brought back East and West, it'd be different. But
yeah, no, I totally agree. Did you guys see the leaked Islanders Stadium Series jersey, which everyone said was photoshopped? I haven't seen
leaks yet. No,
I did not. So I'm glad nothing's gotten leaked yet. So that's good to see. Goza's checking in again too. Goza, what's going on? Appreciate you having us back again. If you guys got any questions, want to chat, debate, do what you want, let us know. Question here for Jake though from Danelle. Let me ask you: do you like the All-Star Game jerseys this year? I don't at all. They were the ugliest games that you've ever seen, thanks to Bieber.
Easy no. So my thing, like, because I don't know if you saw me streaming with Jimmy earlier this year for Leafs and Bruins. I know someone like Angus might remember that. I am a fan of the regular reversible jersey that the Leafs have, the Drew House jersey that they have just for themselves.
Right.
But when it comes to these jerseys, have you seen that meme where they're comparing them to ketchup and mustard and mayo and stuff like that?
I compare it to the Carl's Jr. Logo, like the font.
Well, the logo does look like that.
It kind of looks like it a little bit.
The colors look like you're looking at a bunch of Hellmann's or Heinz.
That's my bottles. 2 cents. I know. Ellmu's got to get rid of the All-Star winner gets home field final. It was a cheesy bit. Fair enough. I mean, again, I'm not a huge investor into baseball, so I kind of like it because at least it gives them a reason to be there and to try. But then again, like I don't know. I'm not crazy.
The fun comes with the home run derby.
For sure. Yeah,
do
absolutely.
Something like that's why the skills comp is there. That's the fun part. And then you go and you do something.
Canes and Devils would have been the game tonight. It would have. I agree. We do have a lot of Devils and Hurricanes guys within the network.
Replay.
Yeah. We can check after. But yeah, it would have been a good game tonight. However, it is currently 3-0 Hurricanes after 2 periods, and I imagine Neil is punching the ceiling.
I bet Zach and Kat and all of our friends over AB, all of those guys are having a really fun time.
He's probably just going through it tonight, so I'll kind of let him be if that's the case. Flames bum jackets is dog breakfast. I know I mean, hey, like it is what it is. We do have a lot of good storylines though tonight, right? Like I don't think it's that bad of a game tonight. I think, for a lot of good reasons, you do have a lot of good storylines that we kind of mentioned early on about Gaudreau and Goodbranson coming back, Shillington making a return. Again, we'll talk about it later
coming
on.
Back.
Werenski coming back, Dubé, him being gone now all of a sudden. Maybe we'll get into that a bit later. You do have a lot of storylines with this game. And if you are a Flames fan, if you want to try and make the playoffs, and it's important 2 points tonight, they need to get back on track. And it just, for me, makes it more interesting to see what happens at the deadline. And I kind of mentioned it too the other day about the stretch that they're on in terms of games. It's going to tell me a lot about this team in terms of how much they're going to sell at the deadline.
As we have a game-tying goal right now.
Oh, do we? It's going to be Weegar at the points scores. It's Mackenzie Weegar. I'm not that far behind you, actually.
No, I'm actually at the face-off directly at following. Nope, that's a replay. That's more replays.
Oh, okay. But Mackenzie Weegar from the point, just above the hash marks there. He's wide open shot there as Weegar continues his goal streak. He's got a good point streak going on right now.
I think we might be pretty matched up. Yeah, this is the face-off following the goal. Here we go.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure we were matched up again.
Yeah, no, I'm just getting the replays here. I can let you know when. Face-off. Oh, you're definitely way ahead of me.
Oh, fair enough.
Way ahead of me. Let's get back to some of the comments here. We're getting a lot in tonight, so I figure why not? Let's go ham with this and
let's just hang out with the chat and
You got it. Danelle saying he totally agrees with Jake that the NHL needs to go back to East versus West instead of these divisional matchups. I could not agree more here.
Well, let me ask you this: like, how are they going to do that? I understand that each team has, like, we've got McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon, and Quinn, right?
Yes.
So, and I understand the player draft and everything, but like, that's still, is it just Team Hughes? Is it just Team Matthews? Like, what?
For that,
you know what I mean?
As soon as they go back to that 1-8 format for the playoffs, then they'll probably go back to East versus West. But because they're trying to make the divisional things work, it sucks.
Kyle, they're never going to do that.
It sucks, and it's unfortunate, but that's just kind of where they're at right now.
They're never going to do that.
RJ's updating the scores here. Lightning currently up 6-3 on the Coyotes here. The Ducks apparently are winning. I don't know if that's the case. Not sure, but let's check in with what else we got here. Do you think the Oilers will break the win record? What is the record? They're at 14.
Oh, the win streak record?
Yes.
I want to say it's 16, because if it's not 16, it's 17, because I know Columbus had a 16-game winning streak years ago, and that was big news when they were actually doing pretty well and were like going up against the 90s Penguins.
They've got the Blackhawks tonight. Then they have Nashville at home on Saturday. I can see them winning their next two games. I think a tough one. I mean, they haven't been playing great, but it'll be tough to win. They'll be tough, but I think also too it'll be tough to win in Vegas. I find, like, I think if they were at home, that's an advantage. But I mean, just kind of speaking on it though too,
Vegas,
just because
they're struggling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, just because they're on this massive win streak, it means nothing. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything, right? Like, it's and it's like, it's great. Like, I remember when the Flames, for us, I think it was a couple of years ago when we were first in the West. Like, we went on like a 10-12 game win streak, and we, do the bet or whatever in the first round, right? Like, it ultimately means nothing until you do something, right? And if you match up the Oilers with the Canucks in the first round, the Canucks have had their number all year, right? So
you want me to make you feel old?
Sure. I already feel old, but whatever.
That win streak, I want to say that streak you're talking about when they won the West and whatever, 2015.
Oh my God, that was 2015.
It's 2024.
That was 9 years ago. Oh my God, that made me feel old.
Yeah, me too.
That's brutal.
That's crazy, brutal.
Yeah, I mean, but to answer the question though, I think they'll break it. If it is 16 games, I think they will. If it's 17, we'll see what happens. I'd be curious to see how well they do against Vegas.
They have become a well-oiled machine.
You got it.
We'll
PJ
see.
saying about the format we got coming up, big pile of money on the table like poker, NASCAR, golf, and say everyone on the winning side gets a share of $10 million. I don't know if it'll get that big in terms of money, but yeah, I mean, if you find a big enough incentive for them to be there, I mean, it in a sense, like, yes, it's for the kids, but I mean, hey, like for some of these guys, like they don't get to experience it, right? For some of the newer guys.
Well,
So
like think about a guy like Frank Vetrano.
right.
Probably one of the only times he'll ever do that.
He'll never do this,
Probably
right?
the only
So
time.
correct. And I think he's one of those type of players that will probably just enjoy the moment, right? And I don't blame him at all. But yeah, I mean, everybody's got their different opinion. Is there a right or wrong answer? We'll never know, right? Everybody's going to always debate about it, right? Danelle checking in again, saying he wants the 1v8 playoff matchup back again. It was great. This playoff setup sucks. I could not agree more. I love the 1v8. I love it.
I would be like, it's weird thinking about it because, I mean, it's definitely an easier format to follow.
It is, but like the way I see it is if you screw the divisions, you're truly getting the best team in the East taking on the quote unquote worst team in the East when they get into the playoffs, right? Upsets have happened before, right? We've seen it too many times. You do get the true 2 versus 7, 3-6. Like if you screw the divisions, I think it makes it more exciting. What I also think it would be exciting too, speaking of these ideas, is I actually love what the NBA has done with that in-season tournament.
That's an interesting point because that's
timeout, not the in-season tournament. I didn't mean to interrupt, but the play-in playoff little thing where you finish 9th or 10th or whatever, you get a chance to get into the playoffs. I love
that's
it.
Fun. And then I mean the in-season tournament, what you're talking about, like I'm not a big basketball guy.
It worked. I think it worked for them.
But like that's an interesting point to bring up, like to try to experiment with something like that.
I think it's so my thing is if you shorten the season by 10 games, just as an example, right? Just shorten it by 10 games, right? Maybe a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring in what the NBA has adopted about getting into the playoffs, right? Let's just say it's because it's 7 through 10, right? If you're in that spot, you'll be in that in playoff in tournament, whatever.
Okay, so
I would love to see like a best of 3 just to get into the playoffs.
I have standings.
One game doesn't do it for me. Go ahead.
I have standings on my phone right now. Do you want to thought experiment this really quick?
Well, I know the Flames would be in that play-in tournament, so go ahead.
In the East, if we wanted to do, because you said that play-in tournament was 7 to 10, right?
Correct.
In the East, the playoff tournament would be Tampa Bay, Detroit, New Jersey, Islanders. So
Tampa Bay and the Islanders would play each other, and then the Red Wings and the Devils would play each other. That'd be a good best of 3, right? You give these guys 3 games, right? A best of 3. Don't give them 1, right? Because I think the 1 off, you can have a bad night, right? And I get it with the NFL, it's different, but go ahead.
In the West, if we were doing that, 7 to 10, it would be the Kings, the Preds, the Blues, and the Coyotes.
Oh yeah, I guess we are a little bit out of it. The Kings, the Preds, the Blues. So the Coyotes, you give them a chance. They play LA. Okay, I like that. And then the Preds and the Blues, correct?
Yes. The Coyotes are currently tied with Seattle so in terms of points, and the Flames are 2 points behind
right there. So yeah, I like that actually. I don't hate that. I think I don't know, if you just shorten the season up a little bit, you make that best of 3 mean something, and then you get in and you start playing these best of 7 games.
If we're going just regular 1 to 8, we would get Boston, Detroit as the 1 to 8 in the East.
That'd be a great matchup. Yep.
And then we would get Canucks Preds as the 1 to 8 in the West.
That'd be good. That could be a good series. I like that.
Thought experiment, just something to ponder.
Exactly. Let's move along here, though. Danelle, All-Star Game jerseys last season were awesome. Loved how they went to throwback jerseys in the 90s. I loved those. Those
throwbacks were great. The reverse retro stuff, I wish they had the ability to do more with that.
Yeah, I thought they were fantastic.
I loved the theming of the first ones, the red ones. I actually have a red reverse retro Columbus jersey.
Yeah.
And then the ones that were black, that were 2003 throwbacks, were really nice too.
For sure.
I wish they just could, I wish they would afford to do that more, because having
I
special
agree.
jerseys like that is really fun.
Yeah, these jerseys this year are really, really bad.
Yeah.
As Andrew's checking in, saying what's up, what's going on, Andrew? Good to have you back. Game's going good so far. A little bit back and forth, kind of a sloppy start for the Flames a little bit. Bit of a bounce back, but other than that, both teams have kind of shut the door very well early on in this game. What do you like so far?
You asking me?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say like it's. I thought you were talking to him. As we get, excuse me, it's now 2-1.
No, for who?
2-1 Columbus.
Let's see.
Taking a look at the camera. It's Damon Severson. Yeah.
Markstrom gets it out, and what a bad giveaway for Markstrom as it just goes right in. Really bad giveaway.
Right around the boards, straight to Damo, and
nobody
boom.
was there and right there. I mean, it was great awareness though for Damon Severson as Markstrom lets up a bad one there. Jackets lead 2-1.
I know there's criticisms around the way we acquired both Damon and Ivan. Ever since this sign and trade with the Devils, Damon's been like found money.
It's been good. That's good. And I mean, sometimes you want that, right? I'm glad that that's the case. Andrew's asking if we're pumped for the All-Star weekend. I live near Toronto, so I plan on staying far away from that as much as possible. I will go north if I have to. I don't care, but get me away from that place.
That's fantasy points for the Damon goal too.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to be staying far away from that All-Star game. So that's my take.
It's definitely going to be interesting knowing that, like, not only, it's going to be the biggest All-Star game in a while because Toronto, but like rival network of ours that I'm big into their community as well.
Yep.
Steve and his fellas are going to be hanging out and partying.
Like Steve Dangle, you mean?
Yeah, the SDPN is taking over the All-Star weekend.
They are. It'll be without some employees, but that's another time.
Yeah.
But let's Andrew's asking here what else we got. Any thoughts of Carter Hart and others did back in 2018? Oh boy.
Okay. Figured we were gonna get to this, didn't we?
We were gonna get to it eventually. So for those of us who don't know, we're catching up on it though. The London police here back in Ontario have issued saying that they do have the names of players who were involved in the incident back in 2018, have given them a certain timetable for them to turn themselves in or else, and yada, yada, yada.
5 of 7 that were named.
5 of 7 that, yes and no, because obviously the names that are currently out there are Dylan Dubé taking a leave of absence, Carter Hart taking leave of absence, Alex Fermenton, Cal Foote, and I think it was Michael McLeod out in New Jersey. Those two guys there, McLeod out in New Jersey. So those are names that are just not with the team right now. It doesn't necessarily mean that that is the case if they go to the London police, right?
So you
cannot speculate.
Right, exactly.
Correct. We don't know if anything in terms of Dylan Dubé and his mental health issues. It could be that. We don't know.
We have zero idea what's going on with Carter Hart.
And we're certainly not going to be here to speculate. So I can't really give a lot of thoughts on it right now because we don't want to.
The one thing I will say is because, and I'm sure I could get back up on this from Sen's friends, Formenton being far, far away from the team in the Czech League and the Melnick daughters not wanting to have anything to do with him. That's a little fishy to me and makes me think that he's kind of got to be one of those names.
Sure. And I mean, you just don't, but again, like, I think you just kind of have to kind of wait it out. And the only thing I'll say is this, and I'll kind of drop it on my end, but I personally don't like it where I see everybody on social media who are so quick to judge.
It has to be these guys. No.
Right. Like we have a system in place where you are innocent until proven guilty. And that's just exactly the way that, I want to see it. And, that's just, I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't like the way that that's kind of taken place. What people said online, they can say what they want, but they are innocent until they're proven guilty. that's just the system, and that's how it is. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, we have, first of all, just to get away from that for 2 seconds, we have a tie game, Connor Zary.
Oh, we do. Anderson shot at the point, rebound in front, and he scores. It's Connor Zary. You're right. It is Zary in front, and it feels like we're going to get a high-scoring game tonight.
Hey, what did we say?
All for
so
it.
The last thing I'll leave with that is I
Yes.
understand. And believe me, like Jay and I are like this all the time. We get aggressive with when we talk about these things because they're serious issues. I understand that we want names now, but there's a reason why these proceedings take as long as they do.
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely.
I've gotten into a lot of legal stuff on YouTube, like criminal lawyer reaction stuff and legal that kind of thing recently. So I kind of understand why a lot of that takes the time that it does.
Yeah. I mean, so in terms of timeline of events of what we know, it was brought up I believe it was the defendant and I believe it was Hockey Canada. They settled back in 2022, I believe. I think this was back in May of 2022. A couple of months later, the London police then reopened the investigation as kind of new evidence came to light. And since then, and then as soon as they reopened the investigation, Hockey Canada board of directors and I believe their CEO stepped down, and they've now replaced new board of directors and
the entire board is new. Yes.
Correct. Yeah. And as Andrew's saying here too, you hope that's not those four in hockey as currently players. I mentioned it to you at the beginning. We've seen some names come out, and what people are forgetting is that, and I hope that this isn't the case, but another big name that was on that 2018 team happened to be Cale Makar. And, there were more players involved with this. I'm very curious to see if, I pray that he's not involved with it, but if he had any sort of dealings with it, it would be a catastrophe for the NHL.
Well, we're forgetting, forget the NHL side of this for a second, right? This is all Hockey Canada and the entire governing body of youth hockey within an entire country. So that's the biggest reason why it's really hard to bring the NHL into this kind of thing and talk about the
problem side of things. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but the problem with that a little bit is the fact that they are now technically employees of the NHL, despite it not being at the time.
Yes, being NHL players, it's going to be very strange.
And I think it'll and not to say that the NHL will be penalized by this, because again, it didn't happen under their watch. It happened under Hockey Canada's watch. So you're not going to see a lot of discipline come towards the NHL. However, their PR team the other day did a fantastic job of covering it up. You got to give them a lot of credit there.
I will say, the Cale Makar point is interesting, and think about other big star names from that team at the time. And think about how much this, obviously we're going to, shove the hockey side of things away for as long as we should, but it could very well ruin their careers at the end of the day.
If these are the players that we believe that are involved with this, their careers are over in terms of the NHL. It is basically over. Some other big names just to kind of mention too, who were on that 2018 World Junior team that haven't been mentioned. Drake Batherson was also on this team. Jordan Kyrou was on this team. Robert Thomas, who just got a big contract. Again, mentioning Cale Makar. Dante Fabro was on this team. And then again, the big one too is
good
also
save by Tarasov on Anderson there.
I know. I feel like we should be watching the game a little bit here.
I know. No, I'm paying attention. It's just, Anderson right in the middle of the slot, and Terry with a big stop.
Good save. How do you like Tarasov so far this season? I know he's kind of young. You guys are figuring out your goaltending situations. Yeah. How do you like him?
It's hard because we talked about this before we got going, that Jay and I talk about Terry a lot in terms of his workload being very overbearing. He consistently faces 35 to 40 plus minimum.
Right.
So that's way more indicative of the defense in front of him. But I don't know. He's fine. His numbers this year. This is the weird thing about the whole Tarasov versus Elvis debate. Because we had all this drama with Elvis Merzlikins recently. Terry's numbers so far this year are pretty much the exact same as what Elvis finished with last year, and that's not great.
Well, I just wanted to look up actually what his numbers are this year.
Elvis finished last year with an 876.
Okay, so through 8 games so far for Tarasov, he's got a 2-4-2 record. Save percentage, he's got an 875 save percentage and a 4.08 goals against average.
Again, think about the volume that he faces night in
and that too, right? You can't. I can't judge because of the way this team has been this season for Columbus. Not to say it's any better for us, but
Markstrom faces a lot of shots. Let's be real, and so does Dan Bedard.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And half the time they go in. But yeah, I mean, you can't judge Tarasov right away. I mean, he's 8 games in. You can't judge a book by its cover right away. You got to start reading a little bit. So
it's very strange, though, knowing we said this on an episode that didn't end up getting published because I had technical issues at the time. Mm-hmm. Play the man you paid. Yeah. You paid Elvis Merzlikins. Play the man as your number one.
So mentioning that, obviously his name has been brought up in trade talks. Do you imagine that he gets dealt at the deadline? It seems like it's trending that way. What are your thoughts on that?
If a deal happens, he has 3 years left on this contract.
Correct, yeah.
At $5.4 million per. If a deal gets done, as long as because there's so much turmoil in the front office between Jarmo and John Davidson right now as well, it's just dysfunction everywhere. Welcome to Columbus. If anything gets done with Elvis, I would say that's more of a summer move.
That's sure. And I think you don't want to rush to make a decision because it's your, goaltending is such a massive aspect to your team. You don't want to rush to make a decision. However, if there's a phenomenal offer out there that you get presented with, I don't see how you turn it down, right? Depending on what that offer may be, you guys can more or less speculate on your end. Yeah.
But like I said, that's a really hard cap hit to move.
That's the thing. Like, you have to, if you're a team struggling for goaltending, I mean, you go down the list here. I mean, for New Jersey, New Jersey is going to be looking for a goaltender at the deadline. I imagine that the Carolina Hurricanes might be shopping for something like that. You don't know about the Oilers, the Leafs.
Blue Jackets legend Spencer Martin, they'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right. As they waived him. Speaking of just kind of looking at this real quick, I just wanted to pause because I saw there was a good Blue Jackets stat. Just in terms of like the guys that you have coming up down the line here.
This is very strangely not a pushy, shovey game quite yet.
Not yet. It will.
It's not as chippy as I thought.
Can't go back to it, but I saw that a lot of guys, first round picks, Adam Fantilli, Kent Johnson, I think it was your check too was another first round pick, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
6th overall, yes.
6th overall, and the list went on from there. I happen to miss the rest of it. A lot of first round potential, I mean, on this team already, and the fact that you guys got Fantilli at the draft, like a lot of people suspected.
Oh, dude, we're still reveling in that.
Such a, I mean, it's a great steal in that sense if you're Columbus. But you couldn't go wrong. I mean, if you did end up with Leo Carlsson, I think either way it'd be good. But we'll see how their careers turn out. You have to anticipate at some point, though, for this Blue Jackets team that they have to start getting going soon with all of this young, fresh talent before you pay them.
This offseason, I'm not too worried. There are 2 guys that are under RFA contracts that need raises, and I don't think there'll be too much. Then again, I think Cole Sillinger is one of them, and he's been playing out of his mind recently.
Sillinger I was going to mention, actually. Yeah, that's right.
Let me actually see if I can. I'm trying to pay attention to the game at the same time just to not miss much.
Well, to help here with cap friendly, just to give me an idea, you do have Jack
Yeah, I
Russell,
was
which is
looking
going
at.
to be UFA.
Yeah, Jack can go, which is
Texier
fine.
is going to be an RFA as well too at the end of the year.
Texier won't cost too much if we decide to, go with that. It's gonna be 23, 24. So we have Tex. We have KJ on a 10.2, which is a different clause.
Kent Johnson, yep.
Marchenko has arb rights. So he's also up, and he's going to demand some money, knowing what he's been doing.
To understand that 10.2 contract that you just mentioned, basically for Kent Johnson, he has not accrued the necessary amount of professional seasons required for Group 2 RFA status. They are ineligible.
Got it.
They are ineligible for an offer sheet. That's all it is.
Oh, they're just cool. Perfect. That's brilliant. So, yes. Going back to the cap friendly page, and I don't know if you're on a break. At the end of one, we are tied.
Oh, we are. Yes, we are at the break. Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes. Tied at 2s at the end of one. Okay, going back to the cap friendly page as quick as I can. So all these guys coming off of Marchenko, RFA with arbitration rights, and knowing what Marchie's been doing, you can go and watch our episode with Dylan Tyre. Because we gushed about Kirill Marchenko. Kid's going to want to raise. Sillinger as well is probably going to get a pretty decent raise. He's one guy that, we were like, he's going to be the future 1C of this team, or 1C, 2C of this team probably. And ever since he's played those 1C minutes this year, he's really shown that he deserves a bit more than probably what he's asking for.
Right.
Voronkov still has another year. And then Bemstrom and Shinnikov, both with arb rights as well. So I don't know. Chinny has an $800,000 hit, and he's going to want some money. Kid's got a shot. He's definitely got top 6 potential. Right. But when it comes to Emil Bemstrom, I'm kind of in a bind with that one.
You got a lot of forwards that, are going to want to get paid, right? You just mentioned them: Kent Johnson, Marchenko, Sillinger, Bemstrom, Chinnikov, also too in RFA. You got a lot of forward guys that are going to want to get paid, and you got to make sure you have some of that money ready to sign these guys. But yeah, so let's so we're currently in a break right now here in the first period. We'll come back to this maybe after we take a short break. 2-2 after one here. Pretty good back and forth in terms of goals. If you're a hockey fan, it's a good start. You like to see it. Any thoughts after the first year?
I think we were right. I think we're in for a shootout.
I think we're in for a long one tonight. We'll take a bit of a break, and we'll come back in about 3 minutes with God knows what other news we'll have drop on us. So we'll be back in about 3 minutes. We have breaking news.
Uh-oh, do we?
Not the best breaking news, unfortunately. Brendan Gallagher has been sent off for 5 minutes and a game misconduct for a very, very, very bad hit on Jean-Gabriel Pageau against the Islanders. If you get a chance to go see it. What didn't even have the puck. Gallagher goes up, clear elbow, goes high on Pageau, and he was down for quite a bit as that's not going to be good for Gallagher. He's probably going to get a very, I imagine the suspension is going to be pretty hefty if you get a chance to go see it. Just watching it on the break there was not the prettiest thing in the world. Not something you certainly want to see. As again, he gets a 5-minute major and a game misconduct. Excuse me, I got the name wrong. It wasn't Jean-Gabriel Pageau. It was Adam Pelech. Yeah, not pretty. So
poor Pelech.
Yeah, on Pelech. But unfortunately, I mean, hey, that's not the game we're covering right now. We got the Flames and the Jackets currently tied at 2 after one in this one.
Goodbranson gone to the room late in the first, came back to the bench, walking very gingerly. So hopefully Goody's all right.
Branson's hurt. Okay. So how do you feel about Goodbranson's contract?
Don't like it at all. I hate it. Nope. Done.
I kind of like.
Okay. No. He's a fine player for what he is.
Agreed.
The contract, it's not it, Chief.
Yeah.
I understand that the man is built like a 4x4. That doesn't mean you pay him a 4x4.
Yeah, when we lost him, I was a little like, oh, I would have liked to keep him kind of thing. But then we saw the contract that we got, and we went, oh, that's why we lost him.
And then so lost we were off at the same time.
Yeah, we were very happy of the fact that, that whole thing kind of transpired with his deal or when he signed it. So I was like, well, it could be worse. Going back to quickly, we're talking about cap friendly and the Jackets beforehand. A guy who is taking up a good chunk of it, about 11% of the cap right now, is the man who is back in Calgary tonight in Johnny Gaudreau. I have him in fantasy, and he hasn't been a guy who has been spectacular this season. What are your thoughts on Johnny Gaudreau's second year in Columbus?
Well, nobody's year in Columbus this year has been great for obvious reasons. And that goes to a point that a friend of the show, Jeff Svoboda, has brought up earlier today. Johnny is sitting at, I want to say 29 points for the year. And there are like 5 to 7 dudes that have more goals than Johnny has points this year.
So to give some context, Johnny Gaudreau actually has the most points on your team with 22 assists. However, he only has 7 goals to show for it.
I know we're going back into, at least on my end, we're going into, I don't know if this is still technically intermission stuff. They're talking about the Cannonball, big fundraiser that we do every year. Your Flames Twitter admin, I don't know if they do this often. They posted a first intermission joke.
Oh, they do it all the time. It's so stupid.
Okay, it is something they do.
They do it all the time. They do it all the time. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Why was the road nervous?
Why?
It was about to get graded.
I hate that admin.
I don't get
it.
I don't get it. I don't like that.
I truly hate the fact that they're doing that. It's like, I could do that. I could pull a random joke.
Honestly, you could do that.
It's so bad. It's annoying how bad it is. Yeah, I hate the admin so much.
I just kind of
yeah, I know.
I laugh at how dumb it is.
Going back to just quickly looking at the stats, though, I think for me it's astonishing. I mean, give Adam Fantilli credit; he's actually having a good year for
he's doing fine.
The type of team that he's on.
He's
actually doing fine. He's got 11 goals, 14 assists. Like, you can't blame for what he's been doing. Zach Werenski has 1 goal and 24 assists. That's wild.
Remember, he's gone through two pretty decent long-term injuries.
Right. Your top goal scorer actually is Marchenko with 14 goals on the year.
Yeah. Love him.
Still, I mean, you got a guy. unfortunate that Laine went down early on in the year. Jurček, who's played 36 games, 1 goal and 8 assists. I mean, you're kind of hoping that I think for some of these guys that they just would step up, and it hasn't flourished this year. Not to say that we haven't done the same thing either on, and I'm not trying to shit on you, but
no. Well, that's the thing with bringing in when you bring in a coach. Obviously, we had a whole other mess to deal with before we brought Vincent in.
You mean Mike Babcock?
Yes, I wasn't going to mention the man by name. Thank you.
Got it.
But
go ahead.
I mean, Pascal Vincent, and then you guys brought in Ryan Huska, or elevated Ryan Huska, however you guys did it. I want to say he was a Wranglers coach before this, right?
He was a Wranglers coach, and then for 5 years he was an assistant coach. Yes. Gotcha.
Okay. So they were grooming him to do this. I just don't understand, because they were doing the same thing for Columbus with Pascal Vincent, and then they decide, okay, so Brad's the guy we're going to start first, and that didn't do anything. That did way less than what we thought was going to happen.
Right.
Pazzy, you didn't take anything from being under John Tortorella? Not a thing? You sure about that?
I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, I'm surprised. Me personally, though, just about your team in general, I'm genuinely surprised that this is where they're at. But hey, I mean, if it means just another year of getting hopefully another top 5 pick, I mean, it could be worse, right? At least you'll have it. You'll get another asset underneath, right? I mean, and depending on the assets that you sell at the deadline, it could just mean good things, that you're just getting younger around this core and they can really start to develop and flourish.
They're already the 4th youngest team in the league.
They'll just be getting more younger.
And Jay and I wanted to see improvement. And obviously we weren't thinking playoffs or anything like that, but we were maybe we'll be 6th and bump up a few points and be fine. And
sure,
as long as the kids are doing okay, sure.
I think the big issue for me, just looking on Cap Friendly here, the good thing that I love about it is the fact that you do have a lot of guys on fairly good deals, right? Like Boone Jenner for the next 3 years getting paid 3.7 is a great deal.
Boone's a steal.
Great deal. A lot of good deals. You locked down Werenski. I think that was great. Damon Severson getting paid what he's getting paid, I think, is a fantastic deal too.
Again, that's fine. I had no issues with that.
And I agree. I think that's a great deal, and he got his money. The issue that I think I see here is the fact that Laine's getting paid 8.7 for the next 3 years.
So, again, we talk about the term all the time. 4 years is still a really long time, right? Obviously, it's no 7-8 year deal, but 4 years is a good chunk of time to have. And Laine getting paid what he's paid, that is Patrick Laine money. That's healthy Patrick Laine money.
Fair.
And
Fair
you
enough.
see the problem is Patty's not healthy.
And when he is, he does well, right? He produces well.
Exactly.
I want to go back because they're showing highlights of it, and I just remembered it specifically because we were covering a Flames game one night, and it was the Blue Jackets in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I'm talking about.
The Flames in Toronto.
No. It was the Blue Jackets in Toronto.
You said you were covering a Flames game. Excuse you.
No. I'm right. We were covering a Flames game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were witnessing what was happening over in Toronto. If you remember, with the lead and everything. Luckily, you guys came out with the win. Great. How was it?
That game. Yes, I completely blocked that game from my memory because for good reason. Yeah.
I couldn't get it out of my head for a long time because I was like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before. What were your kind of emotions and feelings during that game and kind of afterwards too, even after you guys won? What was the whole thought process and your emotions throughout that whole experience?
I want to say I was working that night. So I didn't have a chance to really catch anything.
Gotcha.
But then when I watched the highlights back, and I was just like, Yeah, that sounds about right. And
Right.
but I'd still like it was a weird combination of anger and confusion and like I think I went through all 5 stages of grief.
The grief.
To the point
Jeez.
where it was just like the next morning I was just like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, I mean, again, it can always get better, right? If we're at the bottom, it can always get better. And I know we'll be there soon. We'll be joining you very soon. I promise you that. Jared saying that the Bruins won in OT tonight. Who were they playing again?
Jeez.
They were playing Ottawa. They were playing Ottawa.
Oh yeah,
Ottawa. Yes. Jared, I'm curious actually, now that we're talking about Boston, if you want to comment below, how confident do we feel as a collective here about the Boston Bruins going into, considering that they'll make the playoffs this year with their record and where they sit? How do we feel about the Boston Bruins going into the playoffs this year, months in advance?
months in advance. I mean, they haven't missed a step, right?
They really haven't. Yeah,
they haven't missed a step. It's crazy.
And to give people context, I mean, like just kind of where they're at standings wise, it's ridiculous. First place in the in the Atlantic Conference, 29-9-9. I mean, they really haven't missed a step in terms of even last year in the regular season. You're not going to get a Florida type team though in that first round, so I think Boston might be okay. You're going to get a Tampa, Detroit, New Jersey type team probably in that building. I like the Bruins' chances probably in those first round matchups.
We know how Tampa turns it up.
Correct.
And those other two are feisty.
Look, if they get Tampa in the first round, and who knows, maybe Tampa makes a move or two at the deadline. And if they get Tampa in the first round, I would be cautious. That's all. Not saying they can't win the series. I think I'd be cautious though.
Question for you, and this could be just me talking out of my butt.
Fire away.
Our play-by-play guy for TV, Jeff Rimmer.
You're play-by-play guy.
Yes, Columbus.
Sorry, you're okay. Yes, sorry. Continue. Gotcha.
He's making his farewell tour this season, so this is probably his last trip in Calgary. I want to say he worked for you guys for a few years there. Probably,
I don't know.
Probably before our time, but like I do want to say he probably was there for a while. Do you guys have anybody like that, at least around your team's history with broadcasting, or anybody like that you think probably going to get a farewell anytime soon, or has a legacy like that?
Yeah, so I mean, because I believe it's through Sportsnet, right? I mean, in terms of legacy, like
as we're I read a book
actually, as we are starting here in the second period. Yeah, no, there was a guy actually. I'm just trying to figure it out right now. I actually read his book this past summer. It was called If These Walls Could Talk.
I remember that book.
Peter Marr, fantastic book that I ended up reading this past summer. Really good stories about him. So clearly, like, his legacy was really cemented, especially through the whole 1989 Stanley Cup run. But the current play-by-play announcer is Rick Ball for the Flames. And I don't know, he's been with the organization. I'm just reading here. He's been there since 2014. He's still fairly young, so I don't imagine that there'll be a sort of farewell tour on our end. How long has your play-by-play announcer been with the Jackets?
With the Jackets for a good chunk of 20 years.
Oh, so then it's probably, like, time to pack it up. Like,
he's had a 6-year career. I'm looking at this right now. This might be. Oh goodness! Why is this not loading? Read more. Here we go.
And just Jared mentioning here, David Pastrnak is going off for my Bruins this year. You are not mistaken.
I
Pasternak with
mean,
30 goals,
pasta's pasta. Like that's
37 assists, and man, what was his contract? He got paid like, I think he got a great deal actually.
okay. So no, he hasn't. I'm looking at Rimmer's resume here. I got it all wrong. He did not work with you guys, as far as I'm aware. He could have.
Okay.
I mean, he could have. 47 years in the league, pre-intermission, post-game. So he could have done something like that for you guys at some point.
Getting paid, man. Sorry, I just had to look at that, but yeah, no, I don't recognize the name, unfortunately.
10 seasons with the Capitals, 11 with Florida, and all 2 decades with Columbus.
Good career for him. Congratulations. How's the game so far? It's still currently 2-2. They just started for us here in the second period. Shots are 18-12 for the Flames currently. And again, appears they keep showing the Calgary skyline. It looks like a beautiful night. My dad's going to Calgary next week. I'm very jealous of that a little bit.
Yeah.
Been to the Saddle Dome. Yeah, I've been to the Saddle Dome 5 times in my lifetime. Just because it's a quick flight over there and it's not too expensive, which is kind of nice. So
right,
nice
I'm a little less than an hour drive from Nationwide Arena,
which is nice. Yeah. I'm about an hour from Toronto, and not going to get in there anytime soon because
I mean, no. Have you seen Leafs tickets? Have you seen nosebleed tickets at Scotia? Whew.
I'd rather go 2 hours to Buffalo or 2 hours to Detroit, or excuse me, 4 hours to Detroit before I go to a Leaf game ever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why they travel so well.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So about your 40-plus-year-old building.
Yeah, it needs a bit of renovation. Yeah,
or
it's not pretty. They from the times that I've been there,
right?
They have a new deal actually in place for the city, and they're going to be putting a new arena basically beside, because they have this massive space beside the Saddle Dome, and they're going to be building a new arena there, which is nice. So while they're building that new arena, they're going to stay at the Saddle Dome until it's completed, and then once the Saddle Dome's once it's done, they're just going to kick it out, say see you later. It's done its time.
That's definitely going to be weird moving like the rodeo and stuff out of that though too.
They don't have to do a lot. They don't have to do a lot to it in terms of the rodeo, just because it's going to be basically side by side, right? And the whole the Saddle Dome is in, like you mentioned, it's in the park, right? So they don't have to do a lot of moving around, I imagine. But they're not just going to move it just because I know they have the rodeo every year. It was a good save by Tarasov, as we're seeing it here, as Kadri had a good chance in front.
And a rough trip. Maybe that was just maybe that was just Uyghur falling down, but that was that didn't look pretty.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a shot from behind. Didn't love that, but Uyghur coming up a little slow. He didn't even have the puck. Where's the penalty on that?
NHL referees, dude.
No, I'm not trying to
No, I know, but we know how this league is. And
they had a call the other day. We did Flames and Leafs last week when the Leafs were in town, and the Leafs deserved to win the game 1,000%. But there was a goal that was disallowed because Bertuzzi was flicking it out of when the Flames were pressuring, and it just went off the fingertips of Coleman. And they said that was enough for a hand pass.
Oh, yeah.
And they said that was enough for a hand pass. And I'm like, this league's ridiculous.
Bringing Steve back into the conversation just for a second. That finger flick LFR was hilarious.
So funny.
That LFR was great.
Doing an 8-year, $90 million deal. So I think that's what, 11.25 a year. I think that's
Costa's really 11.2. Well, here's the funny thing, right? So going back to the Leafs for 2 seconds, William Nylander signed his big deal, and Jay and I talked about this.
He did.
He will be passing David Pastrnak in terms of average. So he will now, after this season, be the second highest paid winger, only behind the bread man, Artemi Panarin.
What's funny about Nylander's deal is that I'm just comparing it because they were talking about this with Matthew Tkachuk's deal, right? And even if you want to bring Pastrnak into this too, by all means. But specifically, they were talking about it with Nylander and Tkachuk because he lives in Florida. And because of that, taxes, Tkachuk's going to make more money than Tkachuk's going to make more money than Nylander will.
Oh, yeah. And I would say that's fair considering tax laws and what have you.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And not to say
bad.
that Nylander's not a freaking stud, because
That's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different conversation, man. The Leafs are screwed for the next year at least.
Oh, their cap structure is absolutely screwed. But like William Nylander is such a phenomenal player.
Yeah, he's good. He's
that's enough. Vastly underpaid for what his current contract is.
Correct. You know who's vastly overpaid for their contract? Jonathan Huberdeau.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to be like too mean.
Oh God, no, I've heard it all the time.
Yeah, I know you have, but like I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of guy.
I actually think for the better part of the past like 2 months, give or take, I actually think he's had a good year. Like for that little stretch of the 2 months, I think he's been good. Has he lived up to the expectations of the deal? Absolutely.
I was going to say, has he been worth $10 million?
Not even close. 2 months? No, he's not. No, he's not worth $2 million or $10.5 million. No way. And the only reason why it was going to work with Huberdeau is because if you pair him up with somebody who's a goal scorer, then great. I mean, that's going to be the case, right? As Tarasov covers up here.
So Flames are going on a power play, high stick on one Severson. Yes.
Severson's number 78. What was he beforehand?
28. And it looks weird. I know.
That's strange.
I know he's 28 for his whole career and he changes to 78. I don't get it either. It's like when the Devils originally got Timo Meier and he was 96 for the rest of that year, and then he finally changed it to 28. It's like, I don't know. Very
weird. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much a high stick. I mean, you can't really argue that much. Flames going on the power play here. We suck at the power plays. In case anybody was wondering, we're not great at all.
Well,
we are ranked 30th in the power play.
We are both. I think going into tonight, we were tied in power play percentage at 14.
For penalty kill, you guys are tied for 19th in the league.
And you guys are what, third?
I think we're pretty high up there actually.
You're like third. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It doesn't surprise me though. This team is never good on the power play with the unit that it has.
But I mean, Chris Tanev is one of the best defensive D-men in the league. So
yeah, that's great. He can go.
You just carry that PK there, Chris.
I can't wait until we start selling some assets. I can't wait. It's gonna be the best. I don't think Tanev is as good. I personally, I don't think he's going to be good for the next 3 or 4 years, to be honest. So if you want to sell him at his highest value. I hope we
have a shorthanded goal.
Hey, so
Alexander Texier, the Frenchman, strikes.
So he has it. It's a 2-on-1, and oh my God,
this is brilliant.
It goes off the post and it comes right to his feet.
Right to his feet. There you go, Tex. Attaboy. He's a guy that, we had high expectations for him coming back from taking some time off in Europe. And he hasn't really lived up to it. But with goals like that, he'll be fine.
Literally all 3 goals tonight, you have to admit, have been fairly lucky. Maybe not the second goal. Maybe
go to the net.
It hits the post and it came right back to him, and it's like, oh, open net. Let me just pot it right in. Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Whatever. 3-2 Columbus, and you know what? That's okay. It's a win-win for me tonight if we win or lose.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I meant to read Andrew's comments here. My bad. Golden State Warriors Malovich passed away this Wednesday on a team dinner. Who's Malovich? I don't watch a lot of basketball, so I'm not.
I was gonna say, I said I wasn't a basketball guy earlier tonight.
But let me just see.
That is 7th goal on the year for Monsieur Texier.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately not aware of that. I apologize.
And the lone assist going to Dublin native Sean Corrali. He just had his birthday. I'm sorry. I was looking at goal stats. I'm sorry.
I'll give you a stat for us though that you should be scared of. We're the best team in the NHL when it comes to third period comebacks.
I'm used to that. I'm used to blowing that crap. Like,
oh god. But there
I'm
you go.
not. I'm not even scared of losing that.
But anyways, Texier with the goal there. It is now 3-2 for Columbus. Yeah, I mean, the first goal and the third goal, I'm sorry, were fairly lucky to me. Like they're pretty lucky.
You gotta have a touch of that when you're playing this sport, man.
So I totally agree. And you're gonna get your bounces some nights. You're gonna get your bounces some nights. I absolutely agree. Yes, you do need bounces to go your way.
I'm gonna read you a Discord chat from another, like, this is just a server that I'm in to play D&D with friends in. And I'm just like, when I was sharing this around, I was like, if you guys want to come and watch this, have fun. And I got a friend asking me, will the live stream include you explaining what's going on to hypothetical idiots?
Oh, hypothetical idiots? Is there a specific what a save by Jacob Markstrom. Jesus Christ. Is there like a topic around that or just like in general?
No, she was calling the rest of the group dummies. Like she was calling everybody else
Got
out.
it.
It's only a group of like 7 of us.
I'm used to that.
Oh yeah. There's only a group of like 7 of us. It's fine. And I just said TLDR, knife shoes, boys go Noom, slap rubber thingy and net. And I was like, how's that for explain like I'm 5?
So they're showing the commercial here. Sorry to kind of change the topic here, but they're just showing on commercial here for us. They have the alumni game, the all-star game, the player draft, and a 3-on-3 showcase for the PWHL.
That's going to be fun. PWHL showcase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can buy tickets, though, for $59.99.
$60 for the showcase?
You get all 3. You get the player draft.
Oh, you get all 3? That's actually a pretty decent deal. I like that.
I don't know if that's the case. I can't believe it because it's,
If it's all 3, that's actually a really nice deal. But
for once, do you want to say who scored the third goal?
Third goal for Columbus, Alexander Texier.
Yeah, hit the post, came right back, bought it right in, and it's now 3-2 for the Blue Jackets.
Sean Corrali did get credited with an assist for that, though, which is kind of funny.
What's Corrali making this year?
Corrali's only making a chunk of change. I mean, he's fourth line dude. I closed out a cap friendly. So.
He is actually your 4th highest forward getting paid, $2.5 million for the next 2 years.
That's not bad for curls. For what he brings,
sure.
Consistent bottom 6 forward that can play third line when when he's called upon like that. That's fine.
Oh, your oldest player, I'm just looking at this, is Eric Goodbranson, and he's only 32 years old. That's wild.
That's not bad, actually. That's what I said. We're like the 4th youngest team in the league.
That's really good. I completely agree.
Really young.
Really good. Yeah. Good for them. Wow. Young team. Well, that's something to be excited for, though.
Boone's like 30, give or take, 29, 30.
I think he was 29 last time I checked.
29. Well, I don't know if he recently had his birthday. It could be his 30th. He was 2011 draft, so he was Johnny's. Right, he was correct. Johnny's draft, right?
Johnny.
They were drafted in the same draft. That's crazy to me.
Oh man. Well, I know we haven't. We never really discussed this in terms of when Johnny Gaudreau signed.
Yeah.
I'll kind of give you my thoughts before he signed with Columbus. Like the whole thing that went down. Like I hated the fact that Brad Treliving just let it go all the way to the 11th hour, and he had to make a decision. I think if you wanted, I really think if they wanted to keep him, they probably would have made a deal back in February at the time or whatever year it was. Mm-hmm. And if they wanted to make a deal, I think it would have been, early on. The problem with it was, though, at the 11th hour, it was the fact that he wanted too much money. It was going to be probably close to $11 million, and we just weren't going to pay that. So what were your kind of thoughts after the decision was made that Gaudreau was going to test the market, and then he ends up with Columbus and he signs the deal that he signed?
The original thoughts on testing the market didn't surprise me because that happens with a lot of star players like that.
Yeah.
When you're just, when your management's not willing to meet those demands. Right. Mm-hmm. But, like Jay and I have a whole 2.5 hour show talking about when Johnny signed and our reactions to that. We were over the moon, dude. Like I was at work, shocker. And Jay calls me. He never calls me. Right? Jay's my co-host on.
Right. Yes.
This guy never calls me, and he's like he's blowing up my phone. And I remember the typo text. Oh my God.
That's funny.
So then he calls me, and I'm like, "What the hell do you want?" And he's like, "Dude, we just signed Johnny Gaudreau." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I was so confused. And then I saw everything just like snowball.
Nice.
It just snowballed.
Yeah, I mean,
like, are you kidding me?
And for what he signed, like in terms, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
In terms of like the contract that he signed, like the money that he got, like it's a very like at the time, like when I saw the contract, I was like, wow, that's a very reasonable deal. I'm surprised that he kind of took like less money to go to Columbus, right?
Getting less than 10 million. I'm sure a lot of people were. Great, especially for what he wanted to do. Can I like? This is a little bit of airing of grievances with that because I understand. Got an injury.
What's up?
Or at least we got somebody way down for Calgary. That's.
Oh, great. Let's see who it is. I'm going to be there in about 2 seconds here. It looks like,
it's AJ Greer. AJ Greer.
That's okay. I'm like,
that's not fun. He's like not putting pressure on.
No, it's not fun at all.
Mm.
I think he felt awkward on his foot there.
Oh yeah. Going down Jake Bean like that is kind of ooh.
Yeah, that's not pretty to see.
That's not fun. Okay.
He's not even putting weight on his left. He's not even putting weight on his left foot there. Oh man. Watching his left foot. Watching it.
Awkward going into the boards like that with Jake Bean.
It was into the boards. It wasn't necessarily the fall, but it was just into the boards. That sucks, man. AJ Greer's been good for us this year, and that sucks. We picked him off waivers this year, and that sucks. Hopefully he gets better, man. That's good bottom six guy, and that's never pretty.
That's tough.
I mean, it's tough, but go ahead. Yeah, you were gonna go on.
So Johnny and the contract and all this and the airing of grievances, yes, because I understand. Like, I don't know if you have seen them within the fandom or if you've blocked them out. Flames fans, and there's Isles fans, there's Devils, there's so many fan bases from, when people were like, no, come here, right?
Right.
That are still mad?
Or more specifically, I think Philadelphia was probably the team that was most upset about it because I think that was kind of where his hometown was. And the fact that he lives now, I think it's 10 hours away from his home or something like that when he's in Columbus.
Something like that. But that was part of what Jay and I talked about was like, going closer to home doesn't mean you're going to move back, around where your parents live still.
Right.
You're not going to move right back there. And the big thing, especially for Johnny and his wife at the time, was expecting their first child. So knowing what he knew about the city from coming to his first All-Star game here in Columbus back in 2015. Again, another 2015 drop shows you how far back that was. Knowing how good the nationwide hospital system is was a huge, huge factor in that decision. And she's a nurse too. So like, that's another big thing. Like she immediately found work.
Yeah. Also too, AJ Greer, who went off for the injury, also got called for tripping, by the way, on that call.
Oh, did he?
That's ridiculous. Like the guy.
Yeah, I saw that close up and that
jackets. No jackets are now on the power play with Johnny Gaudreau and Marchenko, and
very unfair power play. Ooh, yes. Voronkov's on this unit.
I like that. Jared asking a question though here. Who's the most surprising team so far this season?
Oh my gosh.
I'll let you go first.
I feel like the cop-out answer is the Canucks, but I'm not really surprised by the Canucks this year.
I think everybody's easy answer would probably be Vancouver.
The easy answer is Vancouver. I would say my surprise team. We knew that Edmonton, despite how much they stunk, we figured they would eventually start clicking again, right? I'm kind of surprised at Buffalo.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are surprised about Buffalo. It's a good answer. Yeah, I'm genuinely shocked too by the
Sabres.
Like, Jared would say the Coyotes here, by the way.
Coyotes in the West for sure, because like both of those teams, Coyotes are way better than expected, and they're great. I love cheering for those guys. They're super fun to watch. And then when it came to the Sabres, like, this was the year for improvement, for vast improvement. They were just shy of getting into the playoffs, and run it back and do it again. And
yeah, I think
it hasn't been there.
I think you're right. The cop-out answer seems like the Canucks. So just for sakes of argument purposes, I'm going to say the Philadelphia Flyers have been probably the most surprising team.
They have been shocking, but hey, remember, John Tortorella team.
It is a John Tortorella team, but at the same time, I think a lot of people were surprised at the fact that Philly is now 25-18-6 and currently holding down the third spot in the Metro, right? And I think a lot of people also had the fact that if it wasn't for the Flyers, my top three, at least for the Metro this year, was going to be the Rangers, Hurricanes, and Devils in whatever order you want to put it.
Yeah, I probably would have put the Devils up there, but again, like, dude, Philadelphia and John Tortorella, they
just go together so well.
they go together like cocaine and waffles.
You got it. Another team.
I hope you got that reference.
I got it.
Good.
Another team I don't want to say is maybe surprising, but I'm not shocked that they're doing this well, is the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah. The thing about the bonus effect, right?
Ever since they traded Pierre-Luc Dubois.
And the PL Dubois effect, yes.
And they got the assets that they got. Like when I saw that trade for Velarde, Iafallo, Kupari, and a pick, and I went, "Oh my god, what a return!" Like
Velarde's been a monster. I love
Velarde's been great, and I'm like, man, like that's a phenomenal return because I think Pierre-Luc Dubois is the most overrated player in the league.
He's
terrible. He is terrible.
I can say this with confidence that that PLD actually stands for Pretty Little Diva.
Yep. Pierre-Luc Dubois has got 10 goals and 10 assists in 45 games.
Todd McClellan is playing him on the fourth line while Rob Blake is paying him second line money, first line money.
I'm not surprised that he's doing this bad because that's where he belongs. I think he doesn't park with that team because the problem with them acquiring him, I was shocked because it's like, well, I get it, but you already have Anze Kopitar who's going to play top line minutes, like
right,
and Philip Deneau who's
can play second line, and he's a great shutdown second liner.
So I'm like, what the hell? I didn't understand that, and I really believe that Pierre-Luc Dubois does not deserve the contract that he received. I mean, you saw him in Columbus. Like, what were your thoughts on Dubois?
He was good through the holdout and the shift. He never really meshed as a Torts player. And when the shift happened, that was the turning point. And obviously we can put the shift in the rear view and all of that. I don't know. It's just disappointing at this point. It's just a disappointment. But hey, we have Adam Fantilli now. It's fine.
So there you go, right? Like you'll take that with a grain of salt, right? Like, that's great.
Here's my question when it comes to PL, as he likes to be called now, though, I guess.
So stupid.
It's just, I mean, that's the LA effect, right? Did you watch any of the Doughty interview that came out today? I mean, we're live streaming this. It's gonna be dated. Did you watch that?
I did see bits and pieces of it. Yes.
He essentially called out Pierre without calling him out.
Oh, he did?
By saying something to the effect of, like, we have guys that are in this room that are more in it for themselves than for the team.
And that is probably Pierre-Luc Dubois, because he made his money, he's got his big contract, and he really doesn't care. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I knew it the minute they signed him, and I said, you guys are going to regret that.
As much as I love Rob Blake as, as a Bowling Green alumni, he's got his issues as a general manager.
Right. I mean, I can't believe how bad it is for that. I mean, I hate
that's
that
his
contract.
biggest hiccup. Everything else has been fine except for maybe Brendan Lemieux and Milan Lucic.
I mean, I'm just gonna go look real quick at their cap friendly too, and like,
yeah, I'll try to pay more attention to the game again while you're doing that.
Oh no, it's all good. That's okay. I mean, normally, like, this is how it goes with a lot of teams. We just kind of like rant and go on about other things, unless it's we kind of go into it in the third period, to be quite frank.
As we should. And I mean, Flames, 5 minutes left here.
Yeah. Flames did kill the power play here. Shots are 23-18 for the Flames. Good chance there as Tarasov was ready for it, but no shot there for Blake Coleman.
Who is your leading goal scorer? Question mark.
Blake Coleman. I'm so happy though, because it's like we're getting good use out of him because of the contract that he's on.
But he shouldn't be your top goal scorer, dude.
That's just how it is this season. It's just
how
it
should not be your top goal scorer.
I know. Actually, no, I think it's I don't think it is actually anymore. I think it's actually Igor Sharangovich.
I like Igor. I like Sharon.
Igor deserves to be the top goal scorer, and I completely agree. Where Coleman should not be like even remotely close to where he is.
I like Sharon.
Yeah, he actually is tied with Sharangovich in goals.
Oh, do they both have 20-something now?
Yeah, 20 goals for Coleman, 20 goals for Sharangovich. Kadri's right there with 16 goals and 22 assists. Lindholm's there with 8 goals. I mean, Lindholm's been bad this year for 8 goals. I mean, he's been awful.
And he was the big piece that everybody was looking for, right? Like,
correct. I can't wait till we sell Lindholm too. Like, we're gonna get such a good asset out of him.
I don't know.
But just to finish up. Oh, I can't. No, yeah, no. We're gonna get a good chunk of change from Lindholm when he goes. You don't think we will?
I mean, you just said it yourself with the way he's been so far this year. Might not be as good as you think.
The thing is that it's a hot commodity, right? With Elias.
That's fair. Being a top 6 center, yes, that's fair. I mean,
it's a hot commodity. So
I could say the same.
Yeah, sorry.
About, like with going back to Peaker for a bit. Jay talked about this with me on the show, that when he was healthy going into this year, Andrew Peeke is a good enough defensive defenseman that you can use in your top 4, that you could probably get like a late second, early third. With the way that
Peeke?
For Peeke.
Okay.
But with the way that he's been playing this year, and especially with how much he's been healthy scratched, and there's probably more value in not playing Andrew Peeke this year. We're probably at this point looking at like late third, early fourth.
Probably a 3rd round pick seems legit for Peeke. And like, he might be a guy, like if you decide to sell him at the deadline, he might be a guy where he might be used as a 5th or 6th defenseman, on a Stanley Cup contender,
exactly,
right? Or whatever.
The guy that I think has the most value right now is Jack Roslovic, because he's been playing some of the best hockey of his career.
And I imagine Roslovic will get dealt because it's a rental. Guys won't have to pay him either. He can just walk at free agency, right?
It's sad because he's another one of those hometown kids, but it's fun. Like for me, it's just fun to have homegrown talent like that on your team, especially coming out of a market like Columbus.
What's crazy for me is like the fact that you guys I believe you just got Provorov too. Am I right? Or
Provorov and Severson with both this offseason, yes.
Gotcha. So you just got Provorov, more specifically Provorov, because as I mentioned earlier, like now that they're starting to open up the doors for teams to look at Line A and Provorov, it's like, okay, you put those guys there, you got Roslovich there, right? Like you're basically in the same boat as we are. Like we're trying to get rid of Lindholm, we're trying to get rid of, Markstrom's name has come up a lot, right? Like there's a lot of a lot of teams that are looking for goaltending. I mean, we're both kind of in the same boat in the sense of, guys, a lot of guys are on teams' radars in terms of a trade.
Right. So,
and I don't know. I mean, I if I was a Blue Jackets fan and teams were looking at Line A, I would say good, right? Because in terms of his injury history, and I mean, like I personally don't like the contract that he's under right now for the next 3 years at 8.7. I think you can probably dish out that money in a variety of ways, and we'll see. Like I think he's on the back half of his career, if I'm being honest too. So if you can get a really good value out of Patrick Laine, now is probably the best time, because I don't know if he can, and maybe I'm totally wrong about this, but I don't know if he's going to be the type of guy that can kind of rekindle what he had back in Winnipeg.
That's a hard thing to wrap your head around when it comes to how he's got a little bit, he's not Ryan Murray when it comes to injuries. Like Ryan Murray was made of, he was a glass house. Patrick Laine, it just gets really unfortunate. He's just got really bad luck when it comes to the kinds of injuries that he has. So, when he's in, he's wonderful. But you can't get a healthy season out of him when it comes to the injury luck that he has. I truly think that he can still be, pushing 40 goals in a healthy year.
Be a different season if Laine was fully healthy.
Yes. There's so much that went wrong with injuries, especially in November, December.
Right.
When we had, it was Damon, Boone, and Patrick back to back to back 6-week timelines.
That's brutal.
It was so brutal.
By the way, sorry, Columbus is on the power play here. They're just showing 3 for 29 in your last 9. I mean, I can't say shit because our power play sucks too, but
well, I mean, Devils friends will, they'll get their little laugh in there because we hired Mark Recchi as our power play coach.
Oh, and I imagine, is he not great, or what's the
wasn't great with them last year, and yeah, well,
got it. Okay. Yeah, penalty kill. We're like up. I don't get that. Yeah, you were mentioning earlier.
Mark Recchi is one of the best to ever play. Coaching's different.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. I'm surprised. Just they were showing the penalty kill percentage, where you are in the league and that. And you were right. Like Calgary is up there in penalty kill and really bad in the power play.
Yeah.
I would have thought going into this season, I would have thought Columbus's power play would be really good, right? You got young guys, you can have Gaudreau there with Laine if healthy, with Fantilli, and Marchenko can be at the top of the point, or however you guys want to construct it. But my thought is that Columbus would have a great power play unit going into the season. And I'm not sure. I haven't followed the team much this year, but I'm not sure where that's kind of led for the team overall.
This is just a dumb question that I actually did. It's not even in the chat. I just got it texted to me because a friend of mine was watching, and she goes, "Tell Kyle that both teams need new coaches really bad right now."
Oh no, we gotta give Huska a chance.
That's what I'm saying. Like Jay's a little out on Pazzi with certain things that have gone on. But that's a whole other mess. Like, that's not entirely Pascal Vincent's fault.
Correct. I think Pascal just got thrown into this situation. You can't blame him. He wasn't prepared for this season, clearly, because you all thought it was going to be Mike Babcock coming in as your head coach, right?
Right.
And so to have Pascal Vincent just kind of get thrown in, I mean, it wasn't his fault, right? And for us, I mean, it's just our first year with Ryan Huska, and it's not his fault that this team is just not good. I mean, he's got the guys playing hard for each other, and it's just unfortunate that this is the kind of position that we're in as we hit the second period intermission. As Columbus did. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no,
Columbus.
You're fine. Kat, did that answer your question?
And your friend now coming in.
Oh, hi, Kat.
Need new coaches. Well, I mean, hey, what do I know, right?
It was gonna happen.
What do I know? If she wants to stick around, by all means. I just thought we would take just a quick little commercial break.
Yeah, we'll take a second.
We'll take a second. Obviously, a good period there for Columbus getting back on top here. What do you expect for this team going into the third period?
Well, they're not going to park the bus because we know that's not how Columbus plays most times.
Right.
And with what you said about third period comebacks, we'll see. We'll see how the shootout continues, right?
Yes. Perfect. So let's take a quick little commercial break, and we'll be back in 3 minutes for the third period. We'll be back.
Yeah.
And welcome back for almost third period action here in the Blue Jackets and Flames game. Jackets currently lead 3-2 here as we are currently at second intermission here. Myself,
really
Kyle, along with
intermission music.
I know, right? Kyle alongside here with Jake here. Haven't really given you a chance tonight though as well to kind of pump the podcast a little bit if you like. So I'll give you a chance to kind of do that as if you like.
One of my favorite things to do, be a shameless plug.
I love it.
So yeah, if you want to follow us, we're YouTube's our main source. I haven't really I know how to use the Megaphone side of things, but when it comes to the distribution through Megaphone, I haven't quite figured that out. So yeah, just find us on YouTube, JJ Jackets Pod. It's called Jake Jackets the alliteration's fun. My co-host's name is Jay. Obviously, I'm there, and we talk the Blue Jackets. That's pretty much it. We cover Columbus. We cover big league stories when we can. We do pop culture stuff. Like I've mentioned Steve Dangle many times throughout this stream already, or at least a handful, and they were a big inspiration for us to want to do this. So.
Oh, nice. I just sent you a link for how to distribute on Megaphone. So
awesome, perfect. Thank you. That'll help us.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, for a lot of inspirations kind of driven from Steve, and obviously they've done a great job over there. Maybe not as recent, but that's a different day for another story.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we can talk about it if you want. It's an open conversation.
I don't know, this is our third year doing it and our first full year with THPN, which is great.
Monsters.
Yeah, sorry, we're gonna go monsters in the chat.
Monsters.
Go ahead. It's fun, and we love doing it with you guys. We love getting to hang out with all the people in the shows and the friends we've made, and having the networking that we have now. We've been able to start getting bigger guests like within the organization. We recently had Jeff Svoboda. One of our most recent shows is Dylan Tyre. He's a radio host for the team. We've had Mike Todd, who's the in-arena host, and we're hoping to get really big stuff going. We'll hopefully be hitting 150 episodes before the end of the season, and we want to do something really big with that.
Nice. Caitlin did a great thing too as well, sharing with friends. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing that.
Thanks, Kat. Appreciate you, girlie.
Monsters fan wants to know what the score is. I'd be glad to tell you right now. The Jackets currently lead the Flames 3-2 after 2 periods of play. Currently in the second intermission. As a question is actually rolling in from Jared, specifically for Jake. Do you miss Rick Nash for your Blue Jackets? Yeah.
When it comes to the player, getting like a prime Rick Nash would be wonderful, but being the first retired number in the franchise's history is a great bookend for Rick's story, and he's still here.
Yes. Didn't he just play a game too recently with I don't know who it was, if it was alumni or...
We did an alumni fantasy camp recently, which was really cool.
That's the one.
And that was really fun. And he is currently the director of player development, which is perfect for Rick.
It's a good role for him. Yeah, I like it. And he had a great career. And the one memory that I'll always think of Rick Nash was the 1-on-2 that he had against the Coyotes.
It's the goal. It's the goal.
It's a disgusting goal. It was nice. Where can I get my jersey from, Kayla? Need to upgrade mine. Well, it's Fanatics, so we'll see. Well, I bought mine from a thrift store.
I usually get mine just as Christmas presents, but they mostly come from the team store online. So just through the NHL shop.
The NHL shop, which is now basically, they're on their last year with Adidas, but now it's going to be Fanatics.
It's going to be the Fanatics store at this point.
You got it.
If you guys want a quick catch up on the game, again, we said a 3-2 Columbus score. Just looking at the box score and everything, shots are 22-20 for the Calgary Flames. Goals thus far: Yegor Chinnikov, Damon Severson, Alexander Texier for Columbus, and the Calgary goals coming from Mackenzie Weegar and Connor Zary.
Third period coming up. Big third period. I'm telling you, we got a great third period coming up. Oh my goodness! And Jared saying he misses Jerome for the Flames. I agree. But hey, he's got his son coming up who's going to get drafted.
Everybody misses Iggy, don't they?
I swear to God, if we draft this kid, I think it's. I don't know.
You have to.
Tage Ginla. Oh my God.
That's part of why, like, this draft class is very strange because part of me doesn't want a top 5 pick unless we reach and get David Yurchek's brother Adam.
Can you imagine? Yeah, I mean,
getting Adam would be really fun.
If we like, if so facto, like we fall to a place where like Tish is like supposed to be taken, then it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. I don't know how comfortable I'm gonna feel if we do draft him, but we'll see what happens. Next is getting the VP of the Jackets to go on your podcast. Good luck with that.
Hey, I mean, you want something fun? Our Twitter account is followed by Kat Dobbs, who is the CMO.
Oh, so you never know, right? Be like, hey, you're following our podcast, just letting you know, right? Hey, we'll see what happens as Boof. I mean, look, if you're gonna diss the team, you gotta spell it right, okay? That's number one.
The Flams.
The Flams. Like
hey, I was a drummer for quite a while through school. So
my jersey is the New York Rangers. I'm curious to see what the Stadium Series jerseys will look like tomorrow, considering they'll be announced tomorrow. So
yeah, she's a big Rangers fan. Wow.
We're really messing up our words tonight.
I don't know. I'm only on my second beer tonight, so
really, I'm on my fourth.
Oh wow, and you're doing pretty well.
I'm not working tomorrow, so I could care less.
That's fair. I do work, but it's not until late. I'll be fine.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I'm curious to see what these jerseys actually look like tomorrow for the Stadium Series. I pray that like one is like really, really bad and the other's like really, really good. I just want different like transparencies.
Because Philly's another part of this, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the Winter Classic jerseys from 2012?
Was that the blue one, like the baby blue?
That was jerseys? like cream for the Rangers, and they had like a weird old school shield, like medieval looking shield.
Are you talking about when Pittsburgh played Buffalo in the Winter Classic, or
no? I'm talking about New York and Philly.
Oh my God, why am I thinking of Pittsburgh? New York and Philly. I don't know why I was thinking about that. Jesus.
That's why I asked about Philly.
I'm losing my mind here. Sorry, the Winter Classic jerseys.
Those are some of my favorite Rangers jerseys ever.
I agree. I like it. Yeah, I like it. I do like the Flyers jerseys too. Actually, I don't mind that.
I know the Rangers just recently did. Bring in like what? Yeah. It's like a Navy Liberty jersey, right?
I think so. Yes.
That's basically their new third. Or maybe it's a Royal Liberty jersey. Either way, I love it.
And I was actually just going to bring this up here too, because he likes Boston. Monsters fan likes Boston here. I actually don't mind the Bruins' new logo this year. I think it's a fresh look for the team.
The Centennial stuff is super fun.
Yeah, I actually don't mind it. I thought initially when I heard about them like getting a new logo, I'm like, oh no, here we go. But I actually think it's a fresh look.
It's very cool, and I love the like metallic gold that they do.
You got it. Andrew, game's not over quite yet. We got one more game to go here.
3-2 period.
Here. One more period to go. One more game. One more whatever. Oh my God. Apparently Caitlin's right here.
She called you out, bro.
I think she's calling us out for this one. There you go. We got one more period to go here as I think we're going to get underway pretty soon here for the third period. What do you expect?
Yeah, I think we're going through one more little commercial break, or at least we're coming back to things.
What are we expecting here in this third period for Columbus?
To blow it like a tire.
Oh my gosh, as Andrew's telling me to. I mean, I can't have a coffee now, or I'm going to sleep. But maybe decaf. I'll go with that.
I was gonna say, I
I
had one at
don't-
like 6 just to be
Nice.
ready for this.
I don't expect this team to do much going into the third period. But I mean, hey, they like coming back from a lot of hockey games in the third period, so we'll just kind of see what happens.
And we like blowing a lot of leads, so I think we'll both get a wish.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, hey, somebody's got to win at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
I'm perfectly okay if you guys win this game though tonight. I have no issue.
I know you are.
I do not have a single issue with it. I'm totally okay with that.
I mean, that's how these interconference games go, man. Like,
pretty much, yeah.
Especially around now where it kind of still doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nothing really truly matters until March.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, we're still 4 points. I mean, for us on our end, we're 4 points out of a playoff spot, so I can't really say like,
man, we're nowhere near that.
Right. But I mean, I'm just saying for us, like, oh, we're somewhat still in it, but it's like I don't want to be in it. So that's where I'm kind of at with it. Both of you guys, I'll get you both a drink. Cheers to you both.
Cheers, guys.
That's my Yeti. That's my sorry, that's not a sponsor, but Yeti. And it's still Yeti.
No, yeah, I've got some Yetis hanging around here.
Not a sponsor.
I've got some Yetis hanging around here, but I do have some theming with mine. Got my little jackets koozie.
If you guys also too want to check us out too as well, you can check out JJ Jackets on their podcast below on X specifically. I only put it up on X because I didn't feel like typing a lot, so that's just
it's fair because I mean the only time I share it outside of Twitter that's not branded.
That's what it is
through my because it's through my personal Instagram.
You got it. Stuff. If you want to go follow Jake, you can follow him there at his socials. And if for some reason you want to follow me, you can. I don't post a lot, but I try to share it a lot what we do here at THPN, and you're more than welcome to do it if you like.
You want to talk about a lot of the original stuff, like our buddy Terry Ryan, maybe?
Yeah, that was actually super exciting. So for those of you who don't know, as we're starting the third period here very soon, so Terry Ryan, obviously you guys, if you haven't heard, he did sign a one-day contract for an ECHL team in the Newfoundland Growlers, where he was kind of born and raised, and he was able to play one game there this past weekend, or it was the weekend before, I can't remember, but I actually watched a bit of the game, and I could not have been more happier for Terry.
His fight was freaking awesome.
His fight was like we were all asking for it, and he
Unreal.
knew it too. Like going into the third period, they were losing the game pretty badly, and for him to do that, I absolutely loved it. And I mean, me and Dylan do talk to Terry a little bit, and I felt compelled that I wanted to reach out and just say, look, like, I don't know if you'll see this for a while, but that was unbelievable to watch, and I really appreciated watching the whole game and just kind of seeing where he was and what he was doing, and I imagine that night for him was sensational. So no, like full round of applause for Terry, who had an unbelievable
plenty of
night.
Stick taps for the man.
Plenty of stick taps, and if you guys want to go hear about his reactions from that game, you can go also to listen to his podcast with Tales with TR, where he goes specifically full in depth on how his whole night went.
That's on this YouTube channel somewhere.
Also on the YouTube channel, it's going to be on our THPN channel that you're currently on right now. If you want to go watch it, you can also listen to Tales of TR too as well on any Apple or Spotify podcasts as well. So
and then we have, obviously, we do these all the time, and we get everybody in here. And
you got her. As we are getting the third period underway here.
Plenty of looks at Johnny Gaudreau on the away feed, because of course.
Of course. As Andrew's heading out for the night. Thank you for hanging out, Andrew, with us. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Who's next on here? Actually, tomorrow night, we do have a game. Somebody will be going live tomorrow night. I'm just quickly looking it up here. It's going to be the Golden Knights and the Rangers tomorrow night, which should be a good one.
So and Jimmy's probably under that, right?
Who else but your host? It'll be Jimmy on that one tomorrow night with you guys.
Jimmy's got a good following. The man.
Jimmy will be there for you guys tomorrow night. It'll be Golden Knights versus Rangers tomorrow night. Make sure to check out that one.
Is it in Vegas?
Well, that game, it'll be in New York. Puck drop will be at 7 o'clock. It's in New York.
Okay. Kat, you might want to tune into that and meet Jimmy if you're curious.
He's awesome. Love
He's
Jimmy.
A great dude. Wonderful guy.
Rolling here through the third period, we'll kind of let you guys know if anything happens as we kind of roll on here. Do you guys think there will be a hockey team in Salt Lake?
I
I'll
had a
let you
feeling
take
that
care
was
of this
coming because we were talking about the other news drop, right? Earlier.
Yeah. Take it away if you want to answer this one.
So it's very like we knew that this one was going to drop, like your standard scheduled news drop from the league, right? That the Utah Jazz owner is itching to go ahead and say, hey, we have the money. Let's get this process rolling for an expansion team. Because Gary never, he didn't say we are never going to expand again. He just said we're not thinking about that right now.
Right. It's not in the, yeah. No, totally agree. Yeah.
So who knows? It's just, for me, it's weird timing considering the bigger news story.
So the group that wants to purchase, or excuse me, not purchase, but get a team in Salt Lake is the Smith Entertainment Group out in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
They had no knowledge. Yep. The problem with that is that the Smith Entertainment Group had no knowledge of what was going on in the Hockey Canada news, right? It just so happened that the NHL PR just, wanted to bring that to light instead of the Hockey Canada news, which is their call at the end of the day. And, whatever it is, what it is. But yeah, like having said that, I think, if it wasn't for the Hockey Canada news being in the way, maybe this would be a bigger story. And listening to, he was on the Pat McAfee show actually recently.
In the
last day or two, whatever. And he was talking about the fact that, it's going to be an expensive buy. It's probably going to be around the $800-900 million range. And they basically sat there and went, yep, we have no problem with that. So they clearly have the financial backing to purchase an NHL team to come to Salt Lake City. And I don't hate it. I think there's a market for Salt Lake City. I think that, I don't know. You need a better arena though for it, right?
There is, and here's the weird part is, would you rather get an expansion franchise and make it awkward? Or would you just move the Coyotes?
Well, they're probably not going to move the Coyotes because they're
probably not because they're Gary's pet project, but
exactly. No, and that's the way to put it, right? I'm just looking at like just the population, like the size of Salt Lake City. The problem with Salt Lake City is that there's only 200,000 people that live there.
So I saw this earlier today. What were the most recent? Vegas paid what, like $650 million or something like that
for their expansion fee. $650 million. Seattle paid about $800 million.
Seattle was 800. There was a leaked number because the Senators just sold for what, 900 mil, something like that.
Yeah, close to that. Yeah,
900 something mil. There was a leaked number out there that, God, it was too much. Upwards of $2 billion for an expansion fee.
Yeah. I don't know.
Just makes me laugh because you look at the valuations from the last year. The two most profitable franchises, excuse me, again, words late. The Leafs and the Rangers were said to have made a profit of $2 billion or just over $2 billion, and that was the two highest rated fluctuations. Right. So basically, you would have to pay an entire franchise's value.
Pretty much that. And the problem with when you bring up Toronto, which is great because it kind of gets into my point where the whole state of Utah has about 3.3 million people. The city of Toronto has about 2 million, maybe upwards of close to, about 2 million people, give or take. I'm just looking it up now. Like these population numbers were about a couple years old. Yeah, Toronto has about the same population as Utah. Right. And
wow,
in order for this to
do
work,
they really?
Like, you have to find a way to pull in every night close to what, 10 to 12,000 people a night,
depending on the size of your arena. I know that like
correct?
certain teams, like obviously Vegas has done it. I believe the Sharks were part of that. The Blues, maybe Colorado, something like that. Like teams just around that general area have done some preseason games there to
I
like gauge
imagine
interest
that,
and stuff.
yeah, I imagine that, I think Salt Lake City would probably do better than Arizona, what they're doing right now. That's just me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I think Salt Lake City would do better than whatever Arizona is doing right now.
I mean, that would just ask, would you put more trust in, ooh, great save Terry.
Very great save for Taranoff as, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but the Flames are
Tarasov.
currently on a power play, by the way. Tarasov, thank you, as the power play has 1 minute and 8 seconds left here for the Flames.
Taranov.
Connor, by the way, checking in too. I know it's late. Connor checking in here. It's a no-brainer. Houston should have a team. They are sports mad. I completely
Houston
agree.
feels like it should be way more of a destination to look at them.
Dallas,
dude, think about a Dallas and Houston rivalry. Oh my god,
they would have each other in pitchforks. Like
that
they
would
need
be,
a team.
Whew. I mean,
They need
we've
a team in
seen what
Houston.
happens
They do.
We've seen what happens when the Rockets and the Mavs are good at the same time.
We've seen that before. You got it. And I mean, especially in NFL football, whenever Houston plays Dallas, I'm sure that it's always must watch.
The Texans and the Cowboys too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be the exact same thing. If Dallas had a rival with Houston, I mean, it just makes more. If Salt Lake City can put in an application for an NHL team, I don't understand why Houston wouldn't do the same thing.
I mean, we've seen that floated plenty. Imagine bringing back the Arrows, right?
I'm curious as to when is too much, right? Like, where's the limit, right? With the amount of teams that you're going to have in the league.
Do you follow the hockey guy at all?
Sometimes I know who he is, but the odd time, yeah.
I love Shannon's stuff. I watch his stuff all the time.
Right.
He had a video from like years and years ago. He had a couple actually that were basically around the same thing, where he formed a 32 team league. And this goes back to like a story that he had from like drafting stuff up in like high school and stuff. He had a 40 team league drawn up once.
So like, how do you even go about that, right?
Exactly.
And Houston's population is nearly 3 million, which is basically the same size as Toronto, which would do so well. I'm surprised, like it would do so well there, though. Like,
did you know that Columbus has a bigger population than Pittsburgh?
That is surprising, actually. Yeah, I would think Pittsburgh would be bigger, but no, that is surprising. I'm not from the U.S., so I can't.
No,
really
that's
say.
Why like it's a fun like trivia for you, because like every time we talk about these rivalries and things, obviously it's more towards the fan bases, and it's a little lopsided as much as we hate Pittsburgh and they don't think about us as much.
For sure.
But like think about it, like Columbus is larger in terms of population than Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the big thing for us is we're a college football city. So
that's the problem, right? And college football completely takes it over, right? And
exactly.
Not to say that like when Columbus makes the playoffs, and we've seen in recent years, like they pack that stadium regardless,
right?
Oh,
dude, Nationwide's such a great barn.
I totally agree, right? And I mean, it's funny too with like, and I'm just speaking on Canadian terms here, like seeing when teams in Canada pack, like because it happens so rarely with some of these Canadian teams to make the playoffs, like they go all out for these teams, right? Like the tailgating, like everything, the whole 9 yards is truly unbelievable, right? And I imagine the same thing is going to take place for Vancouver for when Edmonton makes the playoffs, or when the Leafs go back to the playoffs. Like they'll have their whole shebang there too, right? So it's
Canadian markets are different.
It is different
because it's the whole bread and butter up there.
That's all we got, man. That's all we got.
I mean, that's all you got around the country. Like, I mean, Toronto's still got the Jays, and well, but like in
even
terms
like
countrywide is like hockey's just Canada's thing.
even like as an example, if you go more out west and you take Calgary and Edmonton, for example, I've been to both cities, and in like outside of their cities, there's truly nothing. Like
Oh yeah,
flat
you go to
land,
you go to
nothing.
the prairies, and it's like, wait a minute.
There's nothing. Same thing. I could say the same thing for Winnipeg. There is nothing outside of Winnipeg. Probably. I've
If you
never been,
guys,
but
for all our casuals out here watching with us, if you want to look into some of that history, look at the Blues almost moving to Saskatoon,
yeah, that's right.
right?
I saw the
Or like
Blues.
Jim
No,
Balsley
sorry, go
wanting
ahead.
to buy something. He went multiple times and tried to move a team to Hamilton. Hamilton's a little
And
different, I guess, but
speaking of Winnipeg, I was just going to bring up this point too. Thank you for bringing it up. Like they can't fill an arena, and that's one of the best teams in the NHL. Like it's crazy to me, right?
they also have like the richest man in Canada as their owner, so doesn't
I
really
can't believe. I know,
balances
but
out.
I still can't believe like you're the best. Like when it comes playoff time, they'll fill that arena no
Oh yeah,
problem, and
it's gonna be Whiteout City in there.
I have no doubt that they will, right? But I get it. Like for some nights, like for me, like depending on the night, like if they play on a Monday night and it's the middle of January, it's like I'm not gonna go through all that just to go to a game. Like I wouldn't do
Especially
that.
with how cold it gets up there.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of just went through a bit of a, we're finally like we do Celsius obviously, so we have like pretty good weather now compared
Right.
to what we had the
We're
last
going
couple of
through
weeks.
a bit
But
more of a heat wave than the last couple of weeks ourselves.
yeah, so I mean, once we kind of get through this little stretch here, like it's gonna be, it will be fine. But I mean, it's I'm just shocked by how Winnipeg can't fill an arena for a Thursday night game or a Saturday night game. Like when they play the Leafs, they of course they'll fill the arena because all the Leaf fans travel
All the
anyway.
Leafs fans travel, yeah.
Mhm.
They travel. They always travel really well. Uh-oh.
Totally. As
Oh,
man down
there's
on the
some man down on
bench
the
for
bench.
Columbus.
Um,
Did he just fall? Uh-oh.
oh,
Did he just fall over? Oh my God, what happened? Oh, wait, he's okay. Okay, I thought there was something more
okay, good.
serious.
Oh, yeah, Boquist is going down. Not Boquist again. Are you? Poor Bokey. This kid
Did he
cannot
get
catch a break.
hit with a puck
I don't know.
or
I was trying to
I
pay
missed that?
attention, and yeah, I missed what happened.
Here we go. So, oh, it's your Columbus guy. He just flicked it out. Oh, just hit him right in the face. There was nothing you can do
Oh,
about it.
dang it!
That's shit.
That's
He just didn't see it.
27 is a cursed number for this team. I swear.
Jeez. Yeah, that's a bad beat though if you're Boquist. Yeah, you know what's funny is we have OHL hockey here, right? And
Right, because there's the hitman, right?
the hit. Well, I mean that's WHL, same thing though, right?
Oh,
It's
that's W.
WHL.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Western Hockey League. We have the OHL breakaway for Columbus. Oh, but we have like OHL, the Western Hockey League, and then the Quebec
I keep
Major
forgetting
Junior.
you're a Flames fan in Ontario, even though you've multiple, like you've said
Trust me,
before. It's
I have a
weird.
family. I have a family full of Leaf fans, and I got it all last week when we were playing. So it's different. It's different. But anyway, like with the OHL, I mean, it was hard for you cannot back in the day. Like I used to watch a lot of OHL games because they're cheap to go to and it's fantastic hockey.
Right.
But you can't even now today. Like I can't buy a last minute ticket because they're all sold out. It's amazing how quickly some of these stadiums sell out for a game.
Major Junior has taken major strides.
Yes.
In terms of just product.
And so was college
talent.
hockey too. So was college hockey. Absolutely.
I mean, we had, my last year of uni, actually ended up having to finish uni over the summer back in 2020 because the world shut down.
You did the same thing. So did I.
No, exactly. We shut down in the middle of our spring break. It was brutal. It was my senior year, and I had 2 big projects that I had to do. It was really bad.
I've got a real funny story real quick about that because so we had it. Well, it came in March, right? And that was my last
Yes.
year, and I had exams coming up, and there was
Mhm.
one course where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to pass this class. Like, I
Yeah.
kind of knew. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to pass this class. Everything went online, and I was kind of like, how well can I really do in this class if I, not tried? And
Uh,
so, because everything went online, I graduated because of COVID.
wow. So the pandemic stopping things actually just like
It
halted your
benefited
progress
for
and
a
helped you. Yeah.
Yeah, it benefited for a lot of us.
Because for me, it was like I was in, I was a film guy. So I was in two big lab classes where we were, making stuff, and we were going into our last week of filming for one class, and we were about to do, like, we were working on trying to do reshoots for another project in a different class. And then we go on spring break. And then we get an email that says, hey, you're not coming back to campus. So you're not going to have
You're
access
like,
to the film
what?
lab or anything.
Right.
So
Jeez.
we had to just
Yeah.
work with what we had in one, and then we did like a weird audition exercise over Zoom for another one, which I didn't like.
Wow. Wow.
We just put up on the
Yeah, I
Facebook
mean,
page the big project. We were like, hey, this is what we have. We couldn't do it because you know what happened.
there you go. See you later. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Last 10 minutes of the third period here. Let's get into it. Flames have kind of been pressing a little bit here in this third period. Not much has been going on though outside of a power play.
It's definitely more of a Flames press in terms of overall pressure.
Yeah. Overall, like for the Flames tonight, just on my end, like it really hasn't been a good night. In terms of just trying to bounce back and respond. Like, it's been our problem this year trying to score goals, and you're seeing it again tonight.
It's just hard watching, like, even as a hardcore fan that, obviously we both are. Whoa! There's a big old scrum along the benches. Oh,
is there a fight now?
It's a scrum. It's a whole pile up.
Oh, great. Love to see it. Probably coming up right. Oh,
Goody's in the middle of that. Of course he is. And
yeah,
boy.
of course. Oh yeah. Good luck trying to take down 6'7" Adam Klapka. The guy is a monster. He's about 7 feet tall.
I mean, I can see it. Like, you can just tell where he is.
He is huge. This guy is massive, and I'm glad he's kind of up here because he's so big. I imagine the Blue Jackets are probably going on the power play here because of the cross check from behind.
Hubie in the box.
Huberdeau's going to go to the box. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Goody might as well. I don't know. He's kind of arguing. Yeah. He's kind of arguing for it, but I don't know. My feed just cut to a commercial, so it looks like it's just Huberdeau.
It'll probably be Huberdeau going to the box. So in terms of our side, like with Adam Klapka, I love him. I think he's like, you need like a big, like for me, like I need a big guy, like, just to, whatever, if he gets some points here or there, that's great. But just like be the enforcer, like, really like be that type of guy. And
that's part of why we got Eric, but at the same time, we also paid him too much for too long.
Right. Don't worry about crossing in the back. Sorry, Dimitri, just answering Connor here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't worry about cross-checking the back. Apparently, some referees think it's legal.
Oh yeah, we could go a whole 3 more hours on that.
Yeah, there was the one. I'm trying to think of. It happened recently. I don't remember where or which game it was, but I know there was an incident that happened recently. There was a cross-check from behind, and no call got
and nothing got called.
Nothing got called. And that's the worrisome thing. If you're some teams like going to the playoffs soon, it's like, you want to have some form of consistency. It's tough because it's like you want to have some form of consistency, but at the same time, it's like you want to be able to play your own game without the refs getting in the way, right? So, yeah, that's the hard thing.
And then that goes into the whole idea of trimming back the rule book and all of that thing.
Yes.
And
apparently it happened last night. So there you go. I missed it. I apologize. We got about. I'll have to look at that and see, but we got about 9 minutes left here in the third period. Jackets lead 3-2 here, and it appears that Huberdeau is in the box They're gonna look at it here.
No, yeah,
They're gonna
that's a
review
bad.
it. I haven't seen the replay, so I can't really tell. But it looks like they're reviewing it here. Huberdeau's going in here. Yeah, no, that's gonna cost you 2 minutes. That's a bad hit. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Poor Rosie.
No,
I hope he's all right. I hope he shook
I
that
get
off.
what he was. I get what he was trying to do, but it's. Oh my god! Look at the blood coming from his face. Was that? Oh, it was Marchenko. Oh man.
Oh yeah, Marchie got something bad. I know Roslovic was over there arguing things, and
so they might be. What I assume they're going to be reviewing here is, I think it's a penalty, but I think what they're going to look at is it a game misconduct?
That's definitely a big board. It's big.
Yeah, I think that's what they're kind of looking at here, just to see if that's going to be the case here. And Huberdeau is just going to wait and see, it looks like. They don't have much to do here, but I think if I'm a referee here...
I'm not watching with audio, so I can't tell.
I don't know either, but I think...
I'm not John Boy. I can't read lips, people. He is heading down the tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah, they're showing the replay for us when they hit Weeg, when Marchenko, I think it was Marchenko who hit Weegar early on, and that one wasn't called, but whatever. But
yeah, Huberdeau's down the tunnel.
So who knows if that leads to a suspension or not? But they're without Jonathan Huberdeau for the rest of the game, and who knows, might be a good thing. It might be a good thing.
That's a tough.
But yeah, it's a 5-minute power play. I mean, I don't like that it's a 5-minute power play. That's my only thing.
If they initially called it a 5, that's fine. It looks like Zari's going to actually serve it. Okay.
That's tough for me because I think, I know he hit him from behind, and I think he should get tossed for that. But I don't know. I don't like the 5-minute power play. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I think it definitely should have been penalty 100%. But I think the way he went into it, it was he was going for the back, but he kind of ended it with it being shoulder on shoulder almost. I still think
if you're still if you're targeting the spine like that and you land where you land.
Yeah. No, I think, and you know what? Maybe it is a 5-minute power play, but what do I know? I just I think I've always not liked the rule of a 5-minute power play because it's well, if the team scores, they're still on the power play.
I just don't like when they reduce it to 2 when it's a clearly blatant thing.
Yeah, I think if it is blatant like that, I think if you want to give it a 4-minute power play, I'm fine with that. I don't have an issue with that. But for me, it's 5 minutes. It's really you're basically taking up a quarter of the traffic so if the Flames kill the power play here, they'll have about 3 minutes left here to have any sort of chance of tying this game. But the Blue Jackets are going to try and put this one away here on this 5-minute power play.
Back to Zach and decent.
A lot of pressure here from Columbus here. Werenski, Ken Johnson.
That was a good little sequence of pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great group they have out right now. Missed wide for Ken Johnson, man. That was close.
Yeah, it was a good setup by Werenski on that.
Oh, if I was Johnson there, I would have fired that one home. Holy crap. He kind of went for a pass there, to try to see if there's anything in the middle of the ice, but there was nothing.
There was just too much. There were
Flames hit the crossbar. Oh, Flames hit the crossbar.
Too many Flames were in front on Markstrom on that previous sequence, so it was just I don't know, no daylight.
For sure. You're going to see a lot of pressure here, I think, from Calgary anyway, despite being a man down. So it's curious to see how well the Jackets can kind of set up and whether or not.
There's that Johnson chance on a replay, and and there's is that a trip on Boone Jenner? Is that a trip?
It's just going to be covered up by Jacob Markstrom here as Brandon Schutz.
That might just be Boone by the way. Pulling down.
Brandon Schutz is checking in, new subscriber for us. Thank you, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. Good to see you.
Thank you for coming along. Really appreciate it here. And if you want to comment and check us out or anything on socials, go right ahead. We're just talking. We've been talking with the comment section actually all night tonight, which has been great.
It's been fun. It's been really fun.
The stupidest rule for me is penalizing a team for delay of game if they lost a coach's challenge. What for? The reeks of over insensitivity on the officials' part. Yeah, I think I don't like the fact that if you lose a coach's challenge, you therefore go on the power play. I agree. I think that's kind of stupid. Like, you want to make sure you get it right. And if you don't get it right, it's like, okay, well, you're not really delaying the game here. You want to make sure that you're getting
on
the right
the
call.
coach for that. Like, yeah.
Correct. It's not on the coach. And if he gets it wrong, then boo-hoo. At least you know that you're getting the right call at the end of the day, right? You're not really delaying the game. You're just making sure that you're getting the right call. And by the way, like the refs do this all the time where they look at plays anyway, too. Like what we just saw here. Like they were looking at what happened with Huberdeau, right? Like they're delaying the game too. So I know I agree with Connor here.
Oh my gosh, somebody called out referees for that recently.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was a decent name for a player. I just can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but they were like, yeah, no, if there's one thing that we could do to change the game to make things at least a little more clear cut, make the refs available for comment post game.
Absolutely. I have an NHL game. Can you challenge the play on NHL 17? I haven't played that in 5 years.
17? Whoo, that's going back. Oh my gosh.
That's a while ago. On the bright side of things, if you're a fan of the game tonight,
I don't think you could in 17. No.
I don't think so.
No.
The
I don't know if you can in 24. I doubt it.
If you're at the game tonight, by the way, at the Saddle Dome, it's $140,000 for the 50-50, by the way.
Wow.
So there you go. Do we think the Flames have a chance here? I mean, you kill the power play. You got about 3 minutes to go and change, and
we know
you
that.
find a way to pull March
never mind. No chance.
Not gonna matter anyway. No, wow, no chance. Great timing for that comment.
PPG, let's go. Fire that cannon
and the
off.
Jackets.
Was that a Florida reverse retro? It's Vrunk. Pull the lever, Vrunk. Let's do this. Big Dmitry Voronkov.
Rebound there.
Front. Oh, it's beautiful.
And the Jackets. Bad rebound there from Markstrom. Jackets take the lead now 4-2. So with there was about 2:50 to go. Is the penalty over?
Don't think so. Because I mean,
if it was under,
it's a major penalty, right?
It's a major for sure. Yeah. That's a bad. I mean, right off the guy's skate, the guy was just standing there in front. I mean, you can't really do a whole much about that one there. But hey, you're doing me a favor tonight. I appreciate it.
Hey, I'm having fun. I'm just here to vibe and have fun, dude.
You're doing me a favor by losing this game tonight. I have no issues whatsoever. I've seen
Marchenko should have had that one too.
Seriously, this is some of the most recycled and laziest gameplay. I completely agree. I was playing 24 the other day, and the game hasn't changed in the last 5 years.
I was gonna say, I've watched some 24, and the last one I played was 20, and it looks basically the same, the exact same.
It's a joke. Mm-hmm.
The only thing that they change is roster updates. That's it.
Oh yeah,
that's the only thing that changes roster updates.
Like, there's nothing about the game that, like, if you look at what the NBA has done through 2K games, it's like completely different. It's a complete joke. Yeah.
Well, think about the modes that people play the most, right? I played a lot of Be a Pro. There's a lot of HUT. There's Be a GM is a big one, and then obviously you want to have your roster updates for Play Now and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But the only thing that they change is the rosters.
Yeah. I think just going back to Connor's comment here, like, you're right. Like, they only change the rosters, and it's like they change the gameplay within the game, but it's like some of the moves in the game now. Some of the moves in the games now are ridiculous. It's so stupid, and some of the goals that go in, you just
adding like Michigans and stuff.
Like, oh my god! Like, you could click the button and it does a Michigan, and you're like, "What is this? This is
okay." Just hitting one button to do that is stupid.
There's new controls, and it's probably for the kids, and I get it, but it's like, You click one button and they do the Michigan, right? You click another button and it's like when you're going on a breakaway and you get like the one-handed stick like to the side. It's so stupid.
Oh, doing the Texier, doing the French poke. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really dumb. Yeah. So that's why,
Marchenko
like,
took a
I
book
don't
out
think
of
I'm
the
gonna buy.
Texier. Yeah.
Oh
Took a
yeah,
page out of the
I don't
Texier
think
book with that
personally I'm
early
gonna
look.
buy another NHL game. I don't think I'm gonna buy another NHL game until they change it. I think it's
I
stupid.
don't have a console at my place, so it doesn't really matter until I get a console
Yeah,
first.
don't.
But
Good. That means you're saving money.
exactly, right? And that's
Yeah,
hard enough as it is anymore.
correct. 4:22 to go here. You got about 50 seconds left here in the Columbus power play. They
Power
took
play
advantage of it. They now go up
does
4-2 here. Yep. About 4 minutes left in the game here as the Jackets lead 4-2. Shots are 31-29 for Columbus.
Dmitry Voronkov with the insurance power play marker there.
He's coming up on a contract here too, isn't he? Is his entry deal?
No, we looked at those earlier, and he's got one more.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He's got
maybe it's
extra year.
Chinnikov I'm thinking of. I think it's Chinnikov I'm thinking of.
It's Marchenko and Chinny. Yeah.
I believe that's the case, yeah. Flames are
Adam Fantilli and Damon Severson got the assists on that power play goal. Brilliant. That's fantasy.
Hey, fantasy points. Very good. I should check how
I'm leading Jimmy by a decent margin anyway, so it's like, I don't know.
I don't know how I've gotten to the point where I'm at. I like to credit it to Connor McDavid on my team.
I mean, dude.
Because I think that kind of
that whole draft was a friggin' whoa. I remember us hanging out for that draft, and that was just like we saw Jordan take Leon first, and we were like, "What?"
You're right. So I'm playing Jordan this week, and you're right. Jordan took the first pick and did not take McDavid.
I mean, she was smart to take Leon, though, but still.
Okay, I'll take McDavid. I don't have an issue with that.
Exactly, like she left that on a platter for you.
But so I started the year with 1 win and 5 losses.
Jordan,
I was
man.
1
She's
and 5.
lovely.
Yes, absolutely. I was 1 and 5 to start the year. I've won 9 straight games.
Right? Yeah, you've been on a tear.
I have been on a friggin' heater. I don't know how, but I've gone on a heater, and I'm like, oh, this team's pretty good.
I want to know how teams like Lance's are like 10 and 5. Didn't we have one team? Was it the DB guys, the Dusty Bender guys that like started undefeated for like 8 straight weeks? They
started the year undefeated, and they were never going to lose again. And they are now 10 and 5 on their side as well too. So I'm also 10 and 5. So it's good though. We got a good league. We got about 20 teams in the league. We're
very fun.
It should be good. 10.
It's super fun.
So 10 teams, and actually we were talking about earlier with the playoffs, about like the seeding and all that. 2 minutes to go here, empty net for Calgary. But we were talking about,
and that's flying down and deposit
for
Adamo Fantilli, Paisan, everybody, the rookie getting the empty netter.
Oh, empty netter. Yeah, there you go.
Empty netter for Mr. Adamo Fantilli. Yeah. Good on you, kiddo.
There you go. And that's going to do it. But just to wrap up my point here was that with our league, like 6 teams will get through on a bye, and then it's like 7v10, 8v9, which is kind of cool. 142 to go here. Looks like it appears the Blue Jackets will hold on to win this game here, and the Flames will lose their 4th straight after winning 4 straight games. So,
well, hey, okay. you said I was doing you a favor with this.
You are absolutely doing me a favor. I could not be happier with this.
I will say you're doing me a favor by actually running the behind the scenes of this. So,
that's okay. No, I'm
I know
so
you're
happy
used
this
to
team's
it,
losing because. Well, it just tells me this team could finally like start selling assets because, if we're losing a team, not to, we've been losing to bad teams recently anyway. So it just kind of adds fuel to the fire, right? That's all it is. So
I see. Because you're the Flames. Yeah.
I get it. Big brain move here. Yeah, not bad, not bad. That, 1 I think that's pretty much going to do it
About
for this
does
game.
it.
I think about a minute.
About does it. 55 seconds to go.
You got it. Jackets coming into Calgary, though. I mean, hey, they were on a 4-game losing streak coming in. You know, when they face the Flames in Calgary, they find a way to turn that around, and they get a good win tonight against.
One thing
against
that
Calgary.
one thing we didn't really talk about that I actually haven't seen much from either side, probably because he's still out, is we didn't, as far as I could tell, we didn't go after Anderson as much over.
I think because I think if it was more recent, I think
exactly.
if it was more recent.
I think it's definitely the break.
Correct. Yeah, they probably forgot about it, to be honest. And that's
I don't think you forget about something like that with his star forward.
I think they did, to be quite frank. It's been a while, right, since the last rematch or since the last time they played each other. So I'm.
Then again, he did get hurt like a second time. Like, I feel like if that was the only injury that he went through,
yeah, for sure,
it'd be different.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
With the other injury,
and
yeah,
that's gonna be it, folks. 5-2 final for the Blue Jackets. Jake, congratulations, great win tonight.
The Johnny jersey worked.
There you go. Any final comments before we sign off for tonight?
Nah, not really. Just kind of, one more little plug. Follow the show, JJ Jackets Pod on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. We're the same on YouTube, Jake Jackets. It's me and my buddy Jay Ashdown. You can follow my Instagram and Twitter if you want to. That's Snake Garinger, GARRINGER. And just kind of, hang out with us, follow the network, do the fun stuff, and keep chilling with us.
And with that, I think we'll wrap it up for tonight. Thank you, Jake, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
This has been very fun. Thank you for being Thank you for
exactly. I don't do the rock on like Neil, by the way, guys. I don't do it, but he does it. If you guys want to check out our next live watch along, we'll be live again tomorrow night as the Vegas Golden Knights will be taking on the New York Rangers in that matchup tomorrow night.
Go hang out with Jimmy.
Go hang out with Jimmy. Thank you again, Jake, for doing this, and we'll see you guys next in.
I'll do another one soon, I promise.
We'll do another one soon too, as well as final score tonight, 5-2 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Again, thanks again, Jake, and we'll see everybody in the next live watch along. So have a good night.
Peace, y'all.
Say something.